Hey guys, welcome in. Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining us. We have a jam-packed program for you. Coming up here in just a little bit. We told you this was going to happen. We told you this Paula Copenhaver, Spencer Deary race was going to get all sorts of silly. We are one day into the potential recount, and now there is going to be a potential recount. And right out of the gate, Copenhaver's people basically said, we're bringing in a bunch of voters and we're going to put them under oath. This is so, these Republicans who make the rules, and this happens time and time and time again, these Republicans make the rules, and we've seen this on a variety of issues, where they make the rules, and then people figure out how to operate in a total legal fashion inside the rules they create. The Republicans don't win or don't get their way or their special interest or whatever doesn't succeed. And then they're like, these rules stink. Somebody should change the rules. These rules are awful. Well, you guys have made the rules for 20 years. Yeah, but these rules stink. We got to change the rules. Oh, okay. So we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. And by the way, the thing that the people did in Lafayette in Senate District 23, it's the exact thing Mike Braun told me 8 years ago that he used to regularly do when he voted in Southwest Indiana. The hypocrisy of these Republicans who didn't get their way, who got beat inside of the system that they've created when people did what they've done for years. These people have no shame. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, the big story broke this morning. And how we're going to handle this is we're going to tell you what we know based on the reporting from Indy Politics. Now, I will tell you this before we get into Indy Politics reporting. This story has been out there for a couple weeks now. And I know of multiple media outlets that are looking into it. I don't know if they're planning stories of their own. I don't know if they have more information than what was released this morning in Indy Politics. But it is not something that just came to Abdul. This story has been out there for a couple weeks now. I know. Now, look, I've told you guys, it is rare, but I will do it, that I will break news. And usually the way I handle whether I'm going to break the news or not is if I know someone else is going to break the news, because it's not what I do. I mean, I will do it. I've done it. You look at things like the Tom Kleinhelter story. You look at things like the Mid-States Corridor. I will break stories if I believe nobody else is going to do it. And I don't mean, I'll just be candid with you guys. The reason that I let somebody else do it, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to break the news. I am more of a commentator. I don't really, just very candidly with you guys, don't want to put the time in it takes to break news, because you got to investigate, you got to cite, you got to source, you got to do all of this stuff, right? It's a lot of work to break a story, and it's just so much easier to let somebody else do it and then comment on the work that they've done. In the case of like the Tom Kleinhelter story, I realized nobody else was doing it. And so I said, okay. And it took me, we talked about this last year. It took me about a month. Put about a month of citing and sourcing and getting second sources and going into things, and ultimately proven totally correct. Same thing with the Mid-States Corridor. Cite it, source it, get a second source, look into this stuff, go over here, do this, read this document, make sure this document matches up with that document. It's a lot of work. It's not really what I do. And so the reason I know this story's been out there for a couple weeks is one of the people it was brought to was me. And I spent a couple weeks looking into it. Somebody else beat me to it. And it appears other people are going into it as well. We'll see what they come up with. So it's not just something that only went to Abdul. This has been out there, and members of the media have known this was going on for a while. But Indie Politics put it out first, so we will use Abdul's reporting that came out this morning involving this crazy story, this absolutely crazy story involving the now former Deputy Chief of Staff for the office of Secretary of State, Diego Morales. And look, there are still things to come out. There are still things that are not known. There are still things that are going to be confirmed, denied, whatever. And so we're going to give you what we know from Abdul right now. What Abdul has reported, we will give it to you right now. And as new information comes out, we will give you that. And the story here, when it comes back, look, the story that we're going to come back to here is Diego Morales has latched on to the Trump orbit, right? He's all in on Trump orbit. And a huge part of Trump orbit, a huge part of the Trump agenda, a huge part of the Trump message is America first. Americans first. American jobs ahead of foreigners coming into this country and taking jobs of Americans. So the issue here, when we come back to, right now, we're going to give you some information that is alarming, but it's that a guy, the hypocrisy of a guy who has run on, who has touted, who has talked about, who has, how much money did he spend trying to find all the illegals that supposedly voted, and then he found one guy? America this, Trump that. That's Diego's parroting talking points. And now, according to Abdul, it appears you have a potential non-citizen who rose to very high ranks in the Morales administration. So here's what we know. Here is what Abdul said. Records obtained by Indie Politics show Morales was paying $160,000 a year to a deputy chief of staff in the office that serves as Indiana's chief elections authority, and who carries an Indiana driver's license restriction the state applies to non-U.S. citizens. The same individual, nearly 2 decades ago, signed an Indiana voter registration form affirming that she was a U.S. citizen. Abdul goes on to say that non-citizen is a category that includes lawful permanent residents, visa holders, and others who are legally present in the United States but are not citizens. So look, there are all sorts of people who work in this country who are not permanent citizens. They work at many different types of jobs. Our country has special visas for these people. The first issue that we need to address, because then there are some bigger issues inside of this, that we'll get to, and we're going to work through this. And we will continue to talk about this as new information comes out. The bigger issue is you have a guy who is in charge of everything from elections to businesses, who has made the idea of America first. Trump's the best. I'm the world's biggest Trump fan. American jobs for Americans. And he has access to personal information on millions and millions of Hoosiers. This was always my deal with India. The biggest part of the deal with India was you have a Secretary of State who has access to personal information on millions and millions of Hoosiers, millions and millions of Hoosiers and businesses, thousands and thousands of businesses. And he goes to a foreign country, disappears to a foreign country for 10 days, and he won't tell you who paid for the trip or what he did there. That's a massive deal. And in this case, you have, according to Abdul, the same guy who's running this America First agenda, American jobs for Americans, Trump agenda. And according to Abdul, he had a very high-ranking official in his administration who was a non-citizen, deputy chief of staff. So I'm going to read you exactly what Abdul wrote in Indy Politics. And you can read this whole article for yourself if you want today over at Indy Politics. And again, it's another example, if all this plays out as Abdul has written it, of the hypocrisy of Diego Morales, of the hypocrisy of the Republicans. Her name is Elena Cupsey, according to Abdul. She resigned on April 29th after roughly 2.5 years on the state payroll. Communications Director Lindsay Eaton confirmed the departure in a May 14th email to Indy Politics, stating that Cupsey, quote, resigned citing personal reasons. The office made no public announcement of the departure. Usually, not always, but usually, when someone that is that rises to the level of deputy chief of staff for a statewide office holder leaves, that's usually a big deal, and there's usually something put out about it. If not by the office, by the person. Cupsey was first hired, according to Abdul, by the state of Indiana on October 30th, 2023, according to records released this month by the Indiana State Personnel Department under the Access to Public Records Act. She was moved into the Deputy Chief of Staff role May the 12th, 2024. So November, December, January, February, March, April. Basically, within 6 months, she was elevated to Deputy Chief of Staff. The annualized salary disclosed by the Personnel Department was $160,000, 36 cents. $160,000. Look, I don't care who it is. The deputy, not even the chief of staff, the deputy chief of staff makes $160,000. What did she do all day? Now, this is where this gets very interesting, according to Abdul. The position was not publicly posted. As directly, the Personnel Department confirmed, quote, this position was not posted. You have a deputy chief of staff position, and they didn't post it. Where have we heard that before? And people don't know what she did. Oh, Adam Krupp. That's right, guys. Adam Krupp and his little special advisor role to the governor. Didn't they say, is my memory failing me? Didn't they say that position was not posted? You guys can correct me on that if I'm wrong. Seems to be a kind of a theme here. According to Abdul, the work history released by the state lists no prior government service of any kind. So a woman gets hired into the office, according to state personnel, lists no prior government service of any kind, and immediately is elevated to, or almost immediately, is elevated to deputy chief of staff. Cupsey's disclosed background, according to Abdul, consists of marketing roles with the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever between 2011 and 2014, a sales lead manager position at the retailer Aldo from 2017 to 2019, fundraising work with the Miami Dolphins Foundation and the Super Bowl 54 host committee in 2019 and 2020, and a quote, event activation vice president role at a company called Image First Events. It gets even more interesting, according to Abdul. The resume also lists Cupsey as co-owner and vice president of Solvega's Elite Cleaning Service, which Abdul claims a start date of January 2000. Cupsey was born in 1987, which would have made her 12 years old. Asked what relevant prior experience Cupsey brought to the role and what prior government service she had, the personnel department referred Indy Politics to its earlier answer listing the work history above. So basically he's like, hey, Abdul asked, what did this person do that would have qualified them to be a deputy chief of staff? What experience do they have in this area? Well, we sent you a resume. No. That's not what I asked. Gets even more interesting. Cupsey's own LinkedIn profile describes her as, quote, chief of staff to Secretary of State. The personnel department's response listed her as deputy chief of staff. Big difference. Big difference. That's not like normally something you'd be like, oh, yeah, that was just a typo error. Big difference between being the chief of staff and the deputy chief of staff. The Secretary of State's office has not responded to questions about the discrepancy. As for the driver's license, according to Abdul, Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles record shows Cupsey's current driver's license, Indiana's driver's license, carries a restriction code 9-temporary. That is the restriction the Indiana BMV applies to driver's licenses issued to non-U.S. citizens, with the driver's license expiration tied to the expiration of the holder's underlying immigration document. Let's go back to that. The Indiana BMV applies to driver's licenses issued to non-U.S. citizens with the license's expiration tied to the expiration of the holder's underlying immigration document. According to now let's talk about the voter registration. According to Abdul, separate records from the Indiana statewide voter registration system show that an Alina Cupsey with the same date of birth was registered to vote in Tippecanoe County from June 2008 to August 2013. The residence was listed. Abdul lists the residence. It was Purdue Student Housing. I'm not going to list the residence. The signed registration application dated September 27, 2007, includes a check mark in the box affirming the applicant was a U.S. citizen. The SVRS shows no voting history. The registration was placed on inactive status in June of 2010 and was automatically canceled in August of 2013. Indiana law, according to Abdul, Indiana law and federal law restrict voter registration and voting to U.S. citizens. A non-citizen who registers to vote and affirms U.S. citizenship on the registration form may face immigration consequences regardless of underlying lawful or unlawful nature of their immigration status. Now, he does go on to point out, both Indiana and federal statutes of limitations on any criminal charges arising from a 2007 registration have long since run out. Okay, so that's what we know according to Abdul so far. According to Abdul, this woman who had in 6 months' time risen to the level of deputy chief of staff, even though she lists herself as the chief of staff, according to Abdul, had a driver's license with a temporary status associated with a non-citizen, and the same person had registered to vote in 2007, though never cast a vote. When you register to vote, you affirm that you are a U.S. citizen. Abdul then goes on to write, in its APRA request, the Indiana State Personnel Department was asked whether Cupsey had completed Form I-9 employment eligibility verification and whether her work authorization had been verified through E-Verify as required for Indiana state agencies. Listen to this response, and this is why people hate the government. The department responded that the information was disclosable under the ARPA request and that the department, quote, verifies employment eligibility for all state employees hired, but did not affirmatively state that Cupsey's I-9 was on file or that her authorization had been verified. Asked whether Cupsey is currently lawfully present in the United States and authorized to work, the personnel department wrote that it, quote, does not maintain records related to the whereabouts of previous state employees, and again noted that records were not exempt from disclosure without producing them. That's what we know, guys. The story right now, and as they say in pro wrestling, card subject to change, is that you have a woman who appears to have not been a citizen of this country that somehow rose to the deputy chief of staff in an administration that has made America first and jobs for Americans a top issue. And you also have this person who appears, at least someone matching the name and date of birth, to have registered to vote. We also don't know the whereabouts of this person. And maybe we will get that. Maybe we'll get into explanations on all of this in the coming days. This is the reporting that Abdul gave. That is the information we have based on what Abdul put out there. Now, you may think it's no big deal that you have a non-citizen in the office of Secretary of State, if indeed that's what happened, and having access, potentially, to personal information of millions of Hoosiers. If that's what occurred, I think that's a huge deal. Even if you take away the repeated message from Diego Morales and the Indiana Republican Party trying to mirror and align with President Trump's message about jobs for Americans and Americans first, if indeed you had a non-citizen, not just in the office, but elevating themselves to the level of deputy chief of staff, while also, according to Abdul, presenting themselves as the chief of staff to the Secretary of State, I think that's a massive deal. Now, the best thing to do here would be for Diego, if Abdul has this reporting wrong, to immediately address it. To immediately come out and say, no, this person is a citizen. Here's the information that has been incorrectly reported. I mean, at the very least, it appears you have somebody who, unless I'm missing something here, who is in the Secretary of State's office, a high-ranking official, or was, and part of what Diego Morales promotes is people voting. You know, he spends tons and tons of taxpayer money promoting people voting, and this person did not vote. So, I mean, at the very least, there's that, right? That's kind of strange, isn't it? That's kind of strange. How many people that are high-ranking officials in the Secretary of State's office do you think don't regularly vote? Look, there are a lot of unanswered questions here. Now, the usual MO from Diego, when bad news comes out, is play victim, scream about the media, shout about fake news or fake Indy Star, fake WIBC, just shout bizarre things like I pay, and hope the story goes away. Hope the media doesn't look into it further. If this person is still legally in the country, that should be a pretty easy prove. If this person was legally allowed to work the entire time they were, and legally in this country the entire time they were working for Diego Morales. That should be a pretty easy prove. And I think if they can prove that, that makes one part of the story go away. Now, again, you still have a person, if indeed Abdul's reporting is accurate, you have a non-citizen helping run our elections in some capacity because of her ties to Diego, helping oversee businesses in the state of Indiana because of her ties to Diego and the high-ranking government position she held. $160,000 if Abdul's reporting is accurate to a non-citizen. Now, then you get into the other side of it. Even if you can prove, hey, the entire time she worked here, she was legally in the country, she was verified to work, she was authorized to work. Okay. That's one part of it. Then you get into, well, how and why was this person registered to vote? How and why was this person registered to vote? And if they knew they weren't registered to vote legally, what? I mean, if they knew it, again, there's so many unanswered questions here. Why did this person never try to vote who registered to vote? Look, there's a lot of stuff here. And there's other people that are looking into it. And hopefully we'll get some answers on this. Hopefully Diego will take the lead and answer these questions. And if there are answers for this that puts this person, that puts his office in the clear, hopefully he'll put all those out and then we'll be able to report on that. In the meantime, that's what we know. Hey guys, located in Brazil, our friends at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage are a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Scenic waterfront view, outdoor seating, perfect opportunity for an evening away, peaceful, chance to breathe and enjoy, most importantly, enjoy a great Hoosier meal. Hoosier grub. That's how they describe the food at Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. It's made from scratch. They invite you to try their breaded Hoosier tenderloin. They think it's the best in the state. And, of course, you got to stay for one of their handmade pies. All, like I said, made from scratch. Down-home food made with love. It's Hoosier hospitality to the finest. The restaurant literally in the home of the owners, Andy and Jody. It's open Friday and Saturday for dinner, Sundays for brunch buffet. Reserve your spot today and try something different this weekend. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, 812-443-3003, 812-443-3003. Check them out on the web. Google it. See it all for yourself. Get your reservations there. Just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, they're about to put citizens under oath to try to alter the results of an election. It's everything we knew it would be. The Copenhaver Deary Senate race heads to overtime. We'll tell you you need to know next. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, help us grow this program. 3 little steps that can really help us grow as an entity. First of all, hit that thumbs up button. Yeah, don't wait. We don't want it. Look, we don't want at 11:50 to be begging you guys to get us to 200 likes like we had to do yesterday. That's not becoming of you guys as an audience. So hit that little thumbs up button. Be sure to like our feed. Just do it now. Get it out of the way. Then you got it done for today. Also, share it out. Facebook, Twitter, wherever you are. Guys, look, we're doing great numbers, and it's because you guys are doing, some of you are doing the things we're asking you to do. It helps us grow. Great numbers again yesterday. Sharing that feed on Facebook, on Twitter, it really does help us find new viewers. And once we get people, we keep them. Once we get them, we keep them. We just need you guys to help us continue to get these people to come to our program. So share the feed, Facebook, Twitter. Helps us out a lot. Third thing, subscribe to the channel. We're closing in. We're closing in on that 3,000 number. You guys got to help us get there. Subscribe to the channel. We call it like, we call it share, we call it subscribe. Make sure you've done each of those every single day. And again, you're helping yourself by doing these things. This is the show for you. It's the show for the people. We're talking about things you're not going to hear anywhere else in ways you're not going to hear about them. And that elevates your voice on causes that are important to you. So when we grow, you grow. When we grow, your influence grows. To help us take some ownership in this. Help us out. Like, share, and subscribe the feed each and every day. Also, if you haven't done so yet, big event coming up June the 27th, our live show. The live show coming up, Mad Hatter Comedy Club and Event Center in Greenwood. Great start to those tickets selling, but man, get them today. So you guys are all the time like, what can we do to help the show? What can we do to help the show? This is the best of all worlds. This will help you help the show, and you get an evening of fun. It's the best of all worlds. Our one-man live show, it's coming up June the 27th. Going to be a rockin' good time. Great opportunity for you to help grow this program, and you get something out of it as well. And last but certainly not least, oh, by the way, where you can get tickets. You're like, where can I get tickets, dumbass? You go over to robkendallshow.com. That's where you go, robkendallshow.com. And we got a big link right there for you guys to be able to get your tickets directly and join us June the 27th. Fun summer evening it's going to be. Hey, okay. So, as we predicted, the Spencer Deary, Paula Copenhaver recount thing is going to be completely nuts. And we had Samantha DeWester on yesterday. She was very nice. She's the attorney for Spencer Deary. She was being very nice, and I'm sure trying to give the benefit of the doubt on what's going to happen. And she's very professional, and she's a great attorney, great election attorney. But we said yesterday, this thing's going to be insane. The establishment wing of the Republican Party, which, I mean, look, the Turning Point people, the Trump people, that orbit, that is now the establishment wing of the party. They've taken over. They're in charge of everything. I had a conversation yesterday with a very high-ranking government official, and we were talking about elections. And this person told me, they said, and this person's been around a long time, they said, one of the things that some people really don't want to admit is Trump and the people that are in his leadership, in his orbit, that is the establishment now. They are the power structure. They control everything. And look, they are not going to let Paul Copenhaver lose this election. They're going to pull I've said this for a week now, that they were going to pull every rabbit out of the hat possible. And they're in the recount phase. And I said, one of the things I've been asking, I said, look, how hard is it going to be to find enough votes on a recount because so much of the voting is electronic? I talked to someone yesterday. He said, look, it is possible. It is possible to find, because there are absentee ballots, which are paper, and that's where the battle will be. And it'll be sort of like Florida with the hanging chads, except it'll be properly marked. They don't do hanging chads anymore. They don't punch the ballot out. You mark the ballot when you vote absentee. It's still like the old Scantron ballots. You used to take in school. Remember when you take the Scantron test? And they're going to micromanage both sides, the absentee ballots, because Paula Copenhaver has to find 4 votes in order to win. She's got to flip 4 votes. She's got to flip 4 more votes than Deary can in order to win. And that's where the battle's going to be. They're going to go after these absentee ballots, the write-in ballots, whatever. But yesterday, and again, Abdul with Indie Politics with the reporting on this, other people report on it as well. Paula Copenhaver, as expected, officially requested a recount. And that's okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. And I would do the same thing in her position, and so would every other candidate. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's where this gets silly, and it's already getting silly. Now, keep in mind, as we told you, the election board, the Indian election board, is going to decide on a bunch of this stuff. And that election board is a Republican and a Democrat and Diego Morales. It's Diego Day on the show. Diego Morales is going to make the deciding vote probably on a whole bunch of these things. That's the last guy. That's the last guy you'd want to be, calling balls and strikes, to be the umpire of your ball game. It'd be like if you were, playing against the Los Angeles Dodgers and they told Shohei Ohtani he was going to be the umpire. That's the very last guy you would want to have to be fair. But he has said as of right now he's not stepping aside, even though he lined up with Turning Point USA, and he is on board with all the Turning Point USA stuff, and he was for redistricting, and he was a huge proponent of redistricting, and Paula Copenhaver is this close because of Turning Point USA and her ties to Trump, which is all about redistricting. Diego said, I'm not recusing. So he's going to cast the deciding vote on a bunch of this. Here's what Abdul wrote, and this is unbelievable that they're going to do this, and we'll get into it here in a second. In a petition, and in the petition is a motion asking the Indiana Recount Commission to subpoena 14 named voters and compel them to sit for sworn depositions about how they cast their ballot. This is the Copenhaver strategy. We're going to take 14 people, and I believe for the first time in Indiana history, get someone's vote invalidated, not because they voted in a wrong precinct, not because they're not registered to vote, but because we don't like they voted in a Republican primary. Now let me read you, because Abdul went into legal mumbo-jumbo on this. Let me read you what he wrote, and then I'll explain what they're saying. The motion does not allege any error in the vote itself. Right. It'd be one thing to say, hey, we looked it up. This person does not live here, right? They didn't vote in the right precinct. They aren't registered to vote. The voter registration the place they voted doesn't match the address. All of those things are fine, right? You can appeal those, and that's okay. This is unprecedented. Instead, it argues that ballots cast by certain voters should be excluded from Deary's total because those voters were not legally qualified to vote in the Republican primary under Indiana's closed primary statute. The statute requires a primary voter to either have voted for a majority of that party's nominees in the last general election or to intend to vote for a majority of that party's nominees in the next one. Well, good luck proving that. Let's go back in the time machine, shall we? So basically what they're saying is a bunch of Democrats crossed over. We think these 14 people crossed over as Democrats to vote in the Republican primary, and every one of their votes should be disqualified because they don't intend to vote for a majority of the Republican nominees in the fall election. There's zero way this should hold up. If it does, we're done as a state. Because now you can start invalidating votes of people you don't like. We don't like you. We can invalidate your vote. How are you going to prove intent? And even if you can prove intent, let's talk about what that means. Okay. In 2018, I interviewed Mike Braun when he was running for U.S. Senate. And one of the things that Todd Rokita and Luke Messer, who were his opponents, they were both congressmen, were hitting Braun on was that he was not an actual Republican. He was a Democrat who switched over to Republican to win a state house seat. And they used in part his voting record of Democrat primary votes. And I interviewed and asked Braun about this. You know what Braun told me? He said, well, I voted for those people because when I did that, I knew that winner of that primary was going to be my local whatever. Sheriff, council member, whatever. And he said, I was always a Republican, but I wanted to have a say in my local offices. That's what he told me on the old Sunday show on WIBC. And at the time I said, look, I don't know whether Braun was actually a Democrat or not. I don't have any problem with this. If we're going to gerrymander districts and areas are going to be that all of one party are going to decide, which is so much of our state, I don't have a problem with people crossing over to have a say in their local elections. I mean, you look at, take for example, Spencer Deary, Lafayette, Tippecanoe County. Those local offices, most of them, many of them don't even have competition in the general election. There's not even a Democrat running. There's a whole bunch of offices that if you want to have a say in that, you have to vote in a Republican primary. If this is allowed to stand, you're essentially telling people you can't vote on your sheriff, your county council, your city council, unless you just happen to be 100% of the party that's running because there's no competition. You don't get the right to vote. And what they're going to say is, the exact thing that our own governor freely admitted that he did, well, that didn't matter. But it matters when these people do it. The exact same thing. Because we don't like who won the election. Let's go back to 2008. In 2008, there was an organized effort in the state of Indiana, initially put forth by Rush Limbaugh, but then embraced by very powerful Republicans in our state, called Operation Chaos, in which Republicans were encouraged to cross over and vote for Hillary in the Indiana primary to screw with Obama, to stop Obama. Thousands and thousands of Hoosiers openly did this. People were giving each other thumbs up in the lines when they were doing it. And Hillary, barely, but it made all the difference, won Indiana in that primary. Now, Obama, of course, won the overall election, but Hillary won Indiana's primary because of Republicans who crossed over to vote. It wasn't a secret. People were calling Rush's show every day. Remember that, Jason? They were calling Rush's show every day, giving their names, hearing their voices. Yeah, I did it. Yeah. And Rush, good job. Yeah. No one said a word, certainly not the Republicans. They thought it was hilarious. They thought it was really funny. And they were all in on it. So they were fine. Again, they're fine when their governor does it. They're fine when, the Republicans not only elected Braun governor, before that they elected him a senator. That's how unserious Republicans were about people voting in different primaries they weren't really a part of. That's how unserious they took that. But in 2008, there was an organized effort, including from some people who were even in the party hierarchy. This wasn't some secret or some underground operation. It was a well-known thing. But now, because the Republicans are mad, the hierarchy, Braun and his friends are mad. Look, Braun hasn't said anything about this, but obviously he spent huge money behind these Turning Point USA candidates. We had Nikki Kelly on a couple weeks ago. She laid out through all of Braun's PACs and these different funds he's affiliated with, just how much money, if you could trace it all, went to these people. So clearly he was on board with these candidates. And I assume he wants Paul Copenhaver to win. The exact thing the governor did. Now they're going to try to overthrow an election. Now they're going to try to overthrow an election? Get out of here. These people are shameless. They have no shame. The evidence, the attorney, according to Abdul, the evidence that the attorney for Copenhaver is going to cite comes almost entirely from public social media posts and a May 10th Substack column by Lafayette journalist Dave Bangert titled, "Did These Crossover Voters Save Indiana's Senator Spencer Deary?" According to the motion, 14 voters identified by full name and address, so they're basically doxing these people now. Look at how crazy these elections get. Look at what's going on. Full name and address of these people out there. Publicly stated on Facebook or to Bangert directly, they were Democrats or independents who pulled a Republican ballot specifically to vote for Deary and had no intention of supporting Republicans in November. Okay. Maybe they like Deary. You're not allowed to vote for who you want, especially if there's no opposition or viable opposition. If you know, well, then what about Braun? Hey, when everybody says Braun's got to stop being the governor, then I'll believe we're serious about this. Copenhaver's attorneys argue the commission has authority under Indiana, they name the code, which doesn't matter, to issue subpoenas that ballot secrecy under Article 2, because your ballot is yours, right? You're allowed to do whatever you want to do with your ballot. It's your ballot. You own it. Vote for whoever you want to vote for. And when you go up there and say, I want a Democrat ballot, they can't question you on it. Or I want a Republican ballot, they can't question you on it. They say that the ballot secrecy under Article 2, Section 13 of the Indiana Constitution does not shield voters who, by their own admission, cast illegal ballots. So I guess this is going to be the first test of the Diego BS Express. Will Diego Morales condone or support putting legal voters under oath to get cross-examined about who they voted for and why? If they do that, I want them to call Mike Braun to the stand and talk about his previous voting record under oath and who he voted for and why. And why it's okay for Mike Braun to do it, but not for these people. If we're going to do that and we say we're bringing Braun to the stand too, then I'm more okay with this. You guys want to bet whether that happens or not? We're one day into this thing, and we're already at, oh, hey, let's call these people under oath to testify. Let's grill them. Let's put their name and addresses out there, because what we're going to say is the election hinges on these 14 people. These guys know exactly what they're doing. We're one day in, and that's where we're already at. No way this can be allowed to stand. If it does, we're done as a state. And again, I love that the reaction from these top-ranking Republicans is, we must close off the primary. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of several years ago, Rickers, the convenience store, figured out how to legally sell cold beer. Do you guys remember this? Convenience stores are not allowed to sell cold beer, except Rickers, following all applicable rules and regulations. Every code the state had, by the letter of the law, they were in perfect compliance. They figured out a way, and I think it related to selling food and how they sold the food, etc., in their store, to legally sell cold beer. And Brian Bosma, who was the Speaker of the House at the time, and David Long, who was the pro tem of the Senate, they sprinted to the nearest podium. Like, I thought those guys were going to tear hamstrings. They were moving so fast. And they were outraged because the liquor lobby is the most powerful maybe gaming. Liquor lobby is the first or second most powerful lobby in the state of Indiana. And they were outraged, some might say on behalf of the liquor lobby, that Rickers had figured out how to do this legally. And you know what? They were like, we got to change the rules. But you made the rules. Rickers abided by the rules that you put forth. You're not You're not mad we have crappy rules. You're mad that Rickers abided by the rules you set forth. Same thing applies here. The Republicans and Democrats could solve this all tomorrow by simply saying, you know what, we are closing off our primaries and we'll pay for them. I pay. I pay. They could fix this all tomorrow by saying, you know what, we're closing off the primaries, we're going to conventions, and we will monitor and we will enforce all of it and we will pay for everything. But they're not going to do that because that's what the primaries are actually all about. Primaries are subsidized taxpayer-funded advertising for the parties. That is what the party is. It's not even about picking candidates. It's about millions and millions of dollars of subsidized advertising for these parties by the taxpayers. It's why Ballard wants that 10% so bad, and the people supporting Ballard. 2% doesn't really do much of anything. It gets you on the ballot, but the Libertarians are already on the ballot occupying third-party space. The plan only works to take down the Republicans in the long run if you get that primary ballot access because of the millions and millions and millions of dollars of advertising. Because when you show up, the person will not have to ask you, do you want a Republican or a Democrat or a Lincoln Party ballot? That's what this is all about. It's all about money. And so to people like Micah Beckwith, who feign outrage over legal citizens voting legally, ask him, are you for Republicans? Anytime he spouts his mouth on social media or whoever's running the account for him, ask him, do you believe Republicans should pay for their own elections? Are you willing to, if we close off the primaries, because that's what they want. They want everybody else to pay for their stuff. It's perfect government. It's everything the government is all about everywhere. I want you to pay for my advertising. I want you to pay for me to administer my elections. Then I want to bitch when the elections don't go the way I wanted because people followed the laws that I had set up. So now we must change the laws. It's all about authoritarianism. It's about taking money from you and forcing you to pay for something that 80% of the people can't even participate in. 80% of the people are ineligible to run for office as a Democrat or Republican, and the Republicans and Democrats take great pride in throwing undesirables off the ballot. And this nonsense that in order to vote in a primary, I must pledge some sort of blood oath to vote for whatever crappy candidates that the Republicans or Democrats put forward in the fall, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's totally par for the course with the people who run our government. If the Republicans want to close off their primaries and they say, we will step up and we will pay for it, I'm all for it. You shut it off, you shut it down, you include who you want to include, you disclude or exclude whoever you want to exclude. I'm fine with all of that. But this is an example of people knowing that they can't give up the money. The reality is Republicans are probably too incompetent, and Democrats, to run on a large scale these primaries without taxpayer money and taxpayer resources. And so now they want to make it harder to vote. And they're going to try to put these people under oath, which they'll probably be allowed to do because of the way the system's set up and the votes that'll have to be taken to allow it. And they are going to make these people's lives a living hell. In the hyper dangerous political climate we live in, which these Republicans now, like Mike, are always bitching about how dangerous it is. They're going to dox these people and put them out there and put them in front of the world because they had the audacity to say, I'm going to decide what local primary I want to vote in. You guys made the rules. I'm going to play by them. It's gross. Hey, is your driveway showing signs of wear? If it is, things like mold, dirt, freeze-thaw cycles, all this stuff, it can do huge damage to your driveway. Take a look like when you drive around and see people's driveways, sidewalks, patios. Like, man, that's kind of falling apart. Do something about it. There's a company out there that's what they do. They bring your stuff back to life. and they're huge supporters of the Rob Kendall Show. Their name, Seal Now. They're the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help protect your outdoor surfaces. And these guys do more than just concrete. They do wood. So they do decks, patios, pergolas, any concrete, wood, outdoor structure, they're your guys. Guys, do me a favor. Seal Now is a huge supporter of this show. If you want to do something nice for the program today, contact Seal Now. Even if you don't need the service in the moment, contact these guys and say, hey, thanks for supporting Rob's show. When I need you guys, I'm going to call you. Guys, again, we talked about Bramwell Mackay the other day. They were blown away by that, by how many of you guys did that. It really helps us keep these advertisers. Here's the phone number for Seal Now. 317-548-2002. 317-548-2002. Or you can get them at sealnow.com. SEALNOW.com. Not only will they show you, hey, here's how the work we've done for other people. You can get an idea of what your project's going to look like. But you get a free estimate, so you'll know what yours is going to cost. And an incredible deal. It's unbelievable. 20% off any long-term sealing project. 20% off any long-term sealing project. Guys, support people who support our show. Contact them. Let them know you heard the ad. It really helps. Seal Now, great supporter of the Rob Kendall Show. 317-548-2002. Okay, let's take another break. When we come back, it is D-Day for Thomas Massie. And I know we talked about this a lot yesterday, but we're going to get into what today means. We're going to talk about some of the just disgusting stuff that they've done to him in the final days of the election. We're going to talk about, we'll bring it back here locally, why good people don't run for public office. Why in the modern era good people just say no. We've got a big update on the Bears Stadium, the Bears stuff. A lot more to get into. Stick around. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. If you haven't done it yet, I know we got people coming and going all show. Hit the like button. I do not want to be here at 11:55 begging you guys to get us to 200. It's like when I was a kid. My mom used to say, look, you got this baseball game you want to watch tonight. You got this thing you want to do. You want to play with your friends. Just get your homework done when you get home. Then you don't have to do it later. No, I'm scolding them, Jason. I'm sick of it. 11:55 trying to get to 200 likes. No, love you guys. You're the best. Just help us out. It really does, guys. And it actually will help us out throughout the course of the program, too. Yeah, if you don't wait, it helps us out throughout the course of the program. So more people will see us while we're going on. Hit that thumbs up button. Like our show. Help us get the word out. Okay, a couple of things. We have an update on the Bears Stadium. Before we get to that, though, hey, selling your home is a massive transition. I know, it can feel overwhelming. Lauren Wilson believes you deserve the best hands-on experience imaginable from a Hoosier lifer, military vet who understands the needs of the area, understands you, wants to get to know you, wants to be your advocate. That's the key in this whole process. You got to have somebody that's invested in you. And that's a great thing about Lauren Wilson. She's small enough to be able to be that. She's local enough to be able to be that. Somebody who's going to be thinking all the time about what home is right for you, what sales price, if you're selling, is going to be right for you, where are you going next, all of these things. Take the stress out of moving with a professional. Lauren Wilson, realtor with @Properties. And by the way, you should get to know your realtors. Don't just take the first person. And Lauren will tell you this. Don't just take her because she's on the Rob Kendall show. Lauren's a big fan of our show, by the way, not just an advertiser. She's a big viewer of the show. But she'll tell you, interview your realtors. Get to know them, and get to know them now, in advance. So when it comes time to sell, comes time to buy, you just flip a switch. You're planned. You're already ahead. Lauren Wilson with @Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. All right. Bears Stadium. Our friends at the Indiana Capital Chronicle have a big update on the Bears Stadium. And the update is Illinois is running out of time. Like, look, guys, I said from the beginning, and I think I may have underestimated the incompetence of the Illinois General Assembly. Like, I thought from the beginning, okay, the Bears are clearly using Indiana to get a better deal in Illinois. And I think when they started, that was their intent. Like, I think the Bears were like, all right, these guys have drugged their feet for 2 years. It's like, you don't want to go out with me. You don't want to give me an answer. You won't break up with Ricardo or whatever your boyfriend's name is. Well, then I'll just go out with Sally and I'll put it all over Facebook. Not because I really like Sally, but because I want you to think that I like Sally. Sally's pretty good looking, and so it'll be a little competition here. That'll get you moving. And maybe Ricardo or Gerald or Henry or whatever the guy's name is, maybe he won't look so enticing anymore. I kind of feel like that's what the Bears were doing with Indiana in the beginning. They were like, yeah, we know these Republicans in Indiana, they give away stuff to megacorps all the time. They'll give us money, and then it'll make Illinois get their act together, and then they'll give us money. And then they were like, oh, crap, we didn't think Indiana was that big of suckers. We didn't think they'd give us that much money. How many billions? And you'll raise taxes on how many people? Oh, well, it's like Jason will back me up on this. Sometimes when you first see somebody, it's like somebody, you see them out and they're not dressed in a way that flatters them. They're not dressed in a way that truly reveals all the talents that they have to offer. And then you go along and maybe you went out with Sally initially to try to make Susie jealous. And then you engage with Sally and you realize, damn, Sally, you need to just dress hotter because you are hot. I feel like that's the way the Bears were with the state of Indiana. Well, we thought you guys were kind of suckers, and we were really just doing this to make Illinois jealous. But you guys are even bigger suckers than we thought. I might just want to be with you. Maybe I've stumbled into something great. You'll give us how many billions? But I still think the Bears, because they own that property in Arlington Heights, their long-term goal, the better play because of the history of the franchise, and I think the franchise will take a hit if they leave the state of Illinois. Look, I think you can sell I'm in a Chicago suburb in Illinois. I think it's a much tougher sell to the people of Chicago to say I'm in a Chicago kind of suburb in the next state over. I think that's a tougher sell. And I think the Bears would take a hit. And so I think their desire is to be in Illinois. But I think the Bears underestimated what dumbasses the Illinois General Assembly actually is. Even though they've dealt with them for years, I think they may have underestimated what complete idiots the Illinois General Assembly actually is. What this all comes down to, and this is crazy, the holdup in Illinois is two things. One, there's a whole bunch of people in Chicago who don't recognize the ship on the Chicago Bears has sailed. Like they're not willing to accept it. Come back to the dating analogy, right? You've been in a relationship with somebody for a long time, and they're like, hey, it's been fun, but it hasn't been fun for a while. I kind of met somebody else, a couple other people. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to drag it out for you. It's over. And I loved being with you. It was fun. I don't have anything bad to say about you. I'm just going to go on my merry way, and I want you to have a happy life too. We all know like a friend that's had that. Maybe you've had that happen to you. And then we all know the response of the people. It's the I will not be ignored, Dan. No, we will be together. No, we will be happy. We will be together. And the person's like, no. It's over. I'm already living with, I've already got two people offering to live with them. I'm going to pick one of them. It's over. I should have broken off a long time ago. That's the city of Chicago. The mayor, this is great. The mayor, Brandon Johnson, who if you were to look up complete dumbass in the dictionary, there would be a picture of this guy. And he will not let it go that the Bears could stay in Chicago. He keeps coming back with, what about this? What about this? The Bears are like, we don't want to be in Chicago anymore. It doesn't work, dude. For a variety of reasons, the Bears in Chicago isn't going to work anymore. You had like 5 years to make Chicago work, and you guys didn't make it work, and we're done screwing around. Pritzker, J.B. Pritzker, when asked about Brandon Johnson's newest set of nonsensical garbage, according to the Capitol Chronicle, dismissed a proposal saying, quote, no plan viable to pull that off. The Bears also dismissed it. So not only do you have like the governor saying it doesn't work, you've got the Bears saying it doesn't work. Like that's how bad of a spouse Chicago's been, or how bad of a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Quote, according to the Bears, there are only two viable stadium locations under consideration, Arlington Heights and Hammond, and a decision expected between the two later this spring or early summer. Chicago's out. Chicago doesn't know it's out. Chicago won't accept it's out. The problem with Chicago being out is Chicago has a massive voice in the Indiana General Assembly. These aldermen, these reps, these senators, they have huge sway over the Illinois government because it's such a population center. And they haven't accepted yet that Chicago's done, even though Chicago is done. And they're screwing it up in Arlington Heights because they're mad about Chicago. And the governor there keeps trying to go, hey, idiots, we've told you for a year now, Chicago, done. We got to get this done in Arlington Heights. And the Chicago guys are like, we'd rather you never love again than love someone else. And we, in this case, we'd rather you guys leave Illinois than go somewhere other than Chicago. It's crazy. So Pritzker, my point in all of this is, like 6 months ago, I was like, yeah, this is dinner theater, and I think it was. But I think everyone estimated how ridiculous the Illinois General Assembly is. And now they may actually lose the Bears. And Indiana, we all, as taxpayers, we all ought to hope Indiana loses the Bears or doesn't get the Bears. We all ought to hope Illinois gets their act together. I'm not so confident anymore. Here's what Pritzker said when he got asked. He said, quote, I put the structure of a deal together with the Bears, and now the Senate has some work to do. I think they're going to make some changes to the bill, no doubt, but I would expect we'll see something before May 31st, and that both houses, the Senate and the House, would vote on that. May 31st, guys. It's May the 19th, right? It is May the 19th. May the 19th. It's 12 days. There's 12 days to go. And the governor's not like, hey, the deal's in place. We just got to make a couple of amendments. Here's things we're working on. Boom, boom, boom. Nah, he's like, I put some stuff out there. The House voted on a thing. I think maybe the Senate will make some changes to it. You're talking a multi-billion-dollar project on a franchise that is the founding franchise of the National Football League. You guys realize that, right? Like the Bears are literally the National Football League. And they are entrenched with the state of Illinois. Isn't the Pride of Illinois the name of the Bears fight song? And the governor's like, yeah, I put some stuff out there. The House voted on a thing. I think the Senate's going to get it sometime soon. Sure, we're done May the 30th. That's the key, right? May the 31st is when the Illinois General Assembly's done. Sure. Yeah. I realize, right? But it'll be fine. And then he said, quote, the details are, quote, in the legislature's hands. You're the governor of the state. You may be about to lose an $8 billion plus sports franchise, the founding franchise of the National Football League, and your response is, it's in the legislature's hands. Look, if I'm the Bears, I know there's going to be a lot of blowback to leaving Illinois, but we all know at this point the National Football League is a business. It's not about the fans. It's about making money. Everything these guys do is about making money. And we as fans are silly enough to buy into the hometown pride, heart of the city, my city, whatever the slogan is, and we keep lapping up the product they give us. Like there are different types of NFL fans. There are casual fans, but then there are fans who actually buy into, and I feel bad for these people, but they buy into that the team actually gives a damn about the city. They don't. They're a business. It's why they keep making you buy more and more streaming services to watch the product. It's why I hope the Congress acts on the essentially antitrust exemption the NFL has had for years and these other pro sports franchises when they do their TV deals. Take it away from them. Those deals were put in place 65 years ago with the idea that this is going to be on free television for the country to consume. And now the NFL is making a gajillion dollars and forcing people to buy a gajillion streaming services to watch their product. They're a money-making operation. It's why they raise the ticket prices every year. It's why they raise the concession prices every year. It's why everything keeps going up. It's not about you. They know how more and more unaffordable it gets. It's a money-making operation like any other business. And so if you're the Bears, I don't know. If we've accepted that it's a money-making operation, which you kind of did when you said we're leaving the city of Chicago to begin with, because the Bears have a stadium that was funded by the taxpayers of Chicago and the state of Illinois, and they want out of there because they want more money. If it's a money-making operation, then the best deal for you right now, even if the legislature signs off on this pilot deal, it's payment in lieu of taxes, which is the proposal for the Bears in Illinois, Indiana's still the better deal. Indiana are such a bunch of suckers, and the amount of money that they're going to give the Bears on tax increases on us, Indiana's a way better deal. Even the best Illinois deal, Indiana's a way better deal. Look, I thought months ago, I was like, this is just the old, I'll go out with this other hot chick to make the hotter chick want to be with me. Now I think the Bears may actually go to Indiana. The Illinois General, I underestimated the incompetency of the Illinois General Assembly. Hey guys, you got a leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, your masonry foundation and chimney specialists. All right, I got to ask you guys a question. It's audience participation time here. Let me find this here on my template. And then we'll get to the Massie stuff coming up here in a little bit, because what's happening to Massie is showing why good people don't get into public office. But I'm going to ask you guys audience participation time. Now, as you know, we regularly encourage you to participate in our YouTube chat. Great community there. Awesome set of people. Have you hit the like button, YouTube chat? Every one of you in the YouTube chat, I hope you've hit that like button so we can get to that too. What's our number? What are we at? Do we know what the number is? How many likes we have right now at 10:12 in the morning? 161. That means we're 39 likes away. We're 39 likes away. Just do it so I'll shut up. The more time it takes for you guys to get to that 200, the more time I got to waste, which I could be in content, talking about asking you guys to hit the like button. You hit the like button, I shut up about it. We get to 200 likes, I shut up about it. That's how it works. hit the like button. Please. please hit the like button. Okay, but in order to be a YouTube commenter, you got to subscribe to our channel. It's a great incentive to subscribe. We're trying to get to that 3,000 subscriber number. We're getting very close. So sometimes throughout the course of the show, I will ask questions and I will prompt you guys for things to say in the YouTube chat. And then at the end of the show, Jason takes some of his favorite YouTube comments of the day and we read them back. It's sponsored by Black Sheep Plumbing. So here is a question. If you guys want to participate in the YouTube chat, I'd love to get your answers on these and hear about these later on in the show. All right. The question is, what sort of celebrity would you spend a lot of time in line in order to meet? I'm not talking about like you got to pay for their autograph, but like if you knew so-and-so was going to be somewhere, who's somebody you'd spend an hour to meet? Like, or is there anybody that you'd be like, I would spend an hour of my day to meet that person? Here's why I ask. According to our friends at the Indy Star, Patrick Duffy is coming to the Brownsburg Kroger on May the 22nd. Jason's laughing. Do you not think Patrick Duffy's a big deal?
Well, maybe 50 years ago, 40 years.
Dallas, right? Step by step. He was on Dallas. He was then, which was obviously a huge show in the 80s, right? Him and J.R. Ewing, Larry Hagman were the two huge names. And then he was on Step by Step, which for my generation, that was TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday television. That was a huge show. Family Matters, TGIF, Dinosaurs. Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking like literally generations of people grew up watching Patrick Duffy. Patrick Duffy has a bread now that he sells that's available at Kroger called Duffy's Dough. And I didn't realize this. He had, in recent years, hooked up with actress Linda Pearl. Linda Pearl, you guys will know Linda Pearl. She was on Happy Days. She was she was Pam's mom on The Office. She's a kind of a known figure. They're a couple now, and they have this bread business together. It's a sourdough bread business, and all the profits from this bread dough business go to hunger relief. Well, one of the places they sell, or maybe the only place they sell it, are Kroger's. And so Patrick Duffy is coming into town on Thursday and Friday this week. He's going to be at the Fisher's Kroger on, I think, Oleo Road on Thursday. And then he's going to be, of all places, at the Brownsburg Kroger on Friday from 1:30 to 3. They offer 5 varieties of Duffy's dough: sourdough loaf, multi-grain sourdough loaf, artesian sandwich roll, French dinner roll, demi-sourdough baguette. I don't know. I think this is like bread you take with you. You can eat it right away type of stuff. And look, I love the TV show Dallas. My parents watched Dallas when I was a kid. My grandmother loved Dallas. I loved Step by Step. Like, I'm not putting Patrick Duffy on like my Mount Rushmore of people that I would want to meet. In fact, I wasn't thinking until yesterday when I saw this article, damn, I'd love to meet Patrick Duffy. But I also didn't think the opportunity to ever present itself. So my question to you guys, number one, is, should I go? What do we think the line's going to be to meet Patrick Duffy on a Friday at 1:30 at the Brownsburg Kroger? What do we think? He's there from 1:30 to 3. Now, the longest I've ever stood in line to meet somebody was 2 hours. When I met Bruce Springsteen, that was 2 hours. The way that worked, that was actually a hell of a deal. He had his book. His book had come out. And this would have been, 2016. And he, at select bookstores across the country, said, I'm going to this bookstore. And I love the way they did this. Like, when I went to meet Bob Knight, I might have stood in line for 2 hours to meet Bob Knight when his book came out after he got fired from IU. But the way they did the thing with Knight was like the traditional book signing. Hey, you buy the book, you give it to him, he signs it, he says, what's your name? Thanks for coming, have a nice life. By the way, I'm so glad I didn't do this in hindsight. I would have been 17 at the time when this book came out. I went with one of my buddies, and we were daring each other when he got up there to say, hey, Knight. For those of you who don't know, Bob Knight was fired for grabbing a kid by the arm after the kid said, hey, Knight. He told him to mind his manners. He was like, my name is not Hey Knight. And then Miles Brand was like, your name is also not basketball coach anymore. You're gone. You're done. But that like was the traditional, you stand on, by the way, this was at the Meijer. I think it was at the Meijer in Avon. And that line was like, we got there way early, but by the time we left, that line for Bob Knight was like around the building. It was so long. I think we stood in line for like 2 hours for that. Maybe 3. I don't know. But the Springsteen way they did it, this is how they should do the book signings. This was great. Because so many people they knew would want to go. This was in Cincinnati. They were like, okay, he's coming. He's going to be here for 2 hours. He's leaving at 2 hours. We've got this thing timed up. We know exactly how this will work. He's going to be here for 2 hours. He's going to pre-sign all the books. Because who the hell cares about watching some guy sign a book? He's going to pre-sign all the books. And each person, we're going to limit this to whatever it was, 120 people or whatever. Each person, and it was a drawing. It was pure luck who got the ticket, or supposedly, right? I don't know if it actually was. I had a guy that got me a ticket. And they gave you, it was like at a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They gave you a gold wristband when you got there. Somehow you won, right? Hey, congratulations. You're one of the lucky winners. You get to meet Bruce Springsteen at the book signing. Oh, awesome. And what they said, and this was a great way to do it, they said, nobody cares about watching a guy sign a book. You want to get a photo with him. So they said he'll pre-sign all the books. We'll have 120 or whatever the number was, books sitting there. Maybe it was 100. I can't remember. And then you get 1 minute with him. 1 minute. Like to shake his hand, to talk to him, to say something to him, to get your photo taken. I was like, that's way better. Way better. I got to talk to Bruce Springsteen for 1 minute. He was probably like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? But he was probably like that with every person. That's the way you do the book signings. That's the way if you're famous. You know you're going to get to meet the guy. You know that he's not going to leave and say, we're out of books. That's the way you do it. Anyway, that's like the longest I think I've ever stood in line to meet somebody. Okay, couple things I want to prompt you guys in the YouTube chat. Should I go to this? Because I think that'd be cool to meet Patrick Duffy. Do we think there'll be a long line to meet Patrick Duffy? And what sort of celebrity status would someone have to have for you to stand in line to meet them? And how long would you stand in line to meet that person? Like, is there a limit? Like, I don't think there's anybody that would stand in a long line now to meet. I have met Donald Trump. I have met Bruce Springsteen. Rush Limbaugh is no longer with us. Those are like the 3 people I would stand in line to meet. And I've met 2 of them. Well, I'm hoping you guys will stand in line June the 27th. Jason asked would people stand in line to see me after the show because the meet and greet is part of the live show. So hopefully you'll stand in line to see me. But you're already there, right? And you can also sit. There's tables there. All right, so let me know in the YouTube chat. That'll be our prompt for today. I'm going to be fascinated to hear what you guys have to say. Should I go? How long do you think I should be willing to stand in line to meet Patrick Duffy? What is Patrick Duffy actually worth in line? Like 10 minutes? 15 minutes? How long? How long is Patrick Duffy actually worth? And who would you stand in line to meet, and how long would you stand in line to meet them? Can't wait to hear about it. Let us know in the YouTube chat. Hey, guys, it is Tuesday. That means you got to make plans for the rest of the week. What are you going to eat? We encourage you to check out our friends at Double D's Barbecue, open Wednesday through Saturday in beautiful Clayton. A little bit of a trip, totally worth it. Right now, 40. Just get on 40. Bam, you're going to run right into it. Right there in your 40 and 39. And they take their barbecue serious. The owners are from Memphis, and that's why they bring you Memphis, authentic Memphis-style barbecue. Every one of you guys who has gone so far, you have just been glowing about Double D's Barbecue. The food, the atmosphere, the service. This place is great. If you're looking for something different, it's a little bit of a trip, but it's totally worth it. Double D's has specials all day long. Wednesday, tomorrow, it's wing night. Thursday, loaded jumbo baked potato. Friday and Saturday, Mississippi farm catfish. And that's a real catfish, not that crap you get from the store. Check out their Facebook page, Double D's Southern Barbecue on Facebook for all their updates, daily specials, etc. Double D's, like I said, open Wednesday through Saturday, so make your plans now for the rest of the week. Located on 40 near 39 in Clayton. Get there early. Once they're done, all the food's made from scratch each day. So once they run out of food, and this does happen, they do run out of food, guys. So get there early. Find everything, the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more. DDBBQ317.com. ddbbq317.com. Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about why good people don't run for public office and what's happening to Thomas Massie in the closing days of his reelection campaign is exactly why. We'll talk about it next. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. We may try something fun tomorrow. I got to learn how to do this on my own because Jason still has some business endeavors that he takes off on every so often. He hasn't had to do one yet. But tomorrow, guys, we may figure out, can I run this show by myself? So it could be all sorts of shenanigans tomorrow. It could be all sorts of chaos. I'm going to see if I can pull off. Because I said this for years when I had the radio show. I was like, I can produce this show myself. It's like, there's nothing to this show. Slide things up, slide things down, hit click. I used to do that sometimes. There was a time. Well, yeah, there's more to this show than there was the old radio show. I was like, told my bosses that. I was like, I could sit in here and run this board and do this show all by myself, like the producer and the host. This looks a little more complicated, but I think I got, so far, I'm in it walking Jason through it as he's doing it. Yeah, pretty much got it down. But tomorrow, maybe for fun, I'll sit here and see if I can run the show while I'm doing it live, just in case producer Jason, because it got me a little worried the other day when Jason came down with that head cold or whatever it was. I was like, man, I really got to figure out how to do this in case Jason is injured in some capacity. And so anyway, we'll see. We'll see that tomorrow. In the meantime, a couple ways. I'm not going to ask anybody to like this segment. I'm not going to ask anybody to like the feed. You guys are going to make your own choices. As my dad used to say, you're going to make your own choice. But a couple things you can do. Join us June the 27th. We would love to have you guys with us at Mad Hatter Comedy Club and Event Center in Greenwood. It's going to be a rocking good time. The live show, the Rob Kendall one-man live show. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to roast politicians. We're going to have some surprises. It's going to be a great time for you guys. It's going to be a great time, and we hope you'll join us. Get your tickets now by heading over to robkendallshow.com. And guys, if you haven't done so yet, check out that website. It's a cool place, man. Jason put the website together. I love it. It's got the live link where you can see the show each day. We've got all the on-demand platforms. If you're like, I wonder if they're on so-and-so. All those links are right there. We've got the articles each day from our favorite segments. We turn them into articles you can read. And then, of course, we've got, as I said, link to the live show up there where you can get your tickets and the support button there, too. If you like what we do, you want to contribute, support button, robkindleshow.com, all right there. Before we talk about why good people don't go into politics, let's talk about our friends at Vent Savvy. Guys, here's a simple test that many homeowners never tried. After your next hot shower, set a timer for 10 minutes. If your mirror's still fogged up after that, your bathroom fan isn't doing its job. It's just a really simple test. No real work required. Take the shower, you're done, boom, timer. 10 minutes later, see what the mirror looks like. And if it's not doing its job, that moisture is hanging around in places it shouldn't. Your walls, your ceilings, even your attic. That's where bigger problems start. Vent Savvy specializes in fixing things right away and the right way. Go to ventsavvy.com, VENTSAVVY.com, VENTSAVVY.com. See if your fan is working like it should. Look, Vent Savvy have been huge supporters. John, the owner, huge supporters of ours since the word go. Support them back. John's a Hoosier lifer. Many of you have had John come out to your house already. He's done the work there. You guys can, if you're in the YouTube chat, let people know about the experience you've had with Vent Savvy. They're an awesome local business. ventsavvy.com. All right, so Thomas Massie's re-election is upon us. And what's happened to him in the final 48 hours is exactly why good people don't go into politics. And in the internet world where everybody can sort of latch on and the internet world sort of connects everybody, it's what I'm about to talk about. It's getting worse. And one of the things that I had to learn a long time ago is you have to create guardrails around yourself on social media. Because too many people just get totally engrossed in the world and they can't leave it. Like, I'm not even talking physically, but I'm talking like mentally or emotionally. And like I said, I heard years ago this saying, and it's absolutely right. The podcaster, pretty famous podcaster, said this. He said, if I put my phone down and I go sit under a tree, none of you people exist. He was talking about people that were critical of him on the internet. I thought, man, that's a great thing. He's like, these people only exist in the world that you allow them to exist. A lot of people, though, that aren't in the media, that aren't, high-profile figures, politicians, they don't live in a world where you process haters, right? I get haters all day, every day, right? It's like, get in line, dude. So I've had to learn how to deal with it, and I learned how to deal with it over time. You go through things, different experiences, whatever. And Thomas Massie, in the final 48 hours of this campaign, I assume most of you know who are hearing my voice, who Thomas Massie is, but he's a Republican from Kentucky. He's very conservative. He's very pro-tax cut. He's very pro-spending cuts. He's anti-war. He's a very great advocate for the taxpayers. He is on the verge of losing his seat in Congress because Donald Trump is mad because Massie has repeatedly voted for things Trump doesn't like. And, I saw this thing yesterday. J.D. Vance, the vice president, I think he was at some rally for Massie's opponent. And he got asked about Massie, and he said, well, look, I like Massie. You guys can go see the clip for yourself. I'm paraphrasing here. I like Massie. And, we partnered on these things together. And then, he was a good guy. I liked him when I was in the Senate. We worked on these things together. But, the parties needed him a whole bunch, and he hadn't been there for us. And I'm watching this, and it's like a minute and a half, the audio clip. You guys can find it if you want to see it. And I was watching this going, this is the problem. Thomas Massie votes for his constituents. Thomas Massie votes for the taxpayer. Thomas Massie votes for the people. And you guys are mad because he won't vote for the party. The party is supposed to be a representative of a core set of ideals. The party is not some blood oath. The party isn't some obligation to always do whatever they want. That blood oath, that obligation, is to the voters, to the taxpayers, to the citizens. And Vance said it out loud about Massie. We're mad at him because he's not a guarantee to do what we want. When we're pulling bull crap, he won't go along with it. And over the past 24, 48 hours, Thomas Massie has essentially been turned into the Night Stalker Richard Ramirez. They have used Laura Loomer to do this. Now, look, you guys know, many of you longtime fans, I know Laura Loomer, not friends with her. I haven't talked to her in a long time. But Laura Loomer used to be a pretty regular guest years ago on my old Sunday show. Many of you remember before I had the regular weekday show when I was the producer for the Chicks on the Right, I also had a Sunday show in addition to being the fill-in guy. And I used to have Laura Loomer on early on in her career quite a bit. She was most famous back then. She was kind of following Hillary Clinton around, and she would get into book signings and ask her difficult questions. That's what she kind of became to national prominence for. This would have been, 2017, 2018 timeframe. And Laura was very nice. She had some views that were kind of interesting, but she was very nice and very sincere. And I felt like the work that she was doing was very genuine. And I don't profess to know Laura Loomer now. Candidly, she kind of, when she got deplatformed, she sort of fell off the face of the earth. I think she ran for Congress in that time frame. But the person that reemerged when she got reinstated to social media was a lot different than the person that I kind of used to interview and talk to. It was not the same person. And look, you don't know how getting your life kind of taken away from you is going to change you, or if it changes you, until it happens. Look, essentially, I had that happen to me. My whole life, I was on a platform. I made that choice to do that. That was a mistake on my part. But I put all my eggs into a basket, which was WIBC. And not real thrilled at the way that went down, not because I'm not there anymore, but the way they did it. And we've talked about that, and maybe here in the future we'll talk about it some more someday. But it didn't change who I was as a person. I came out and said, we'll do it over here, and we'll do it better than we did it before. And I think most of you guys will agree. We're doing better content every day than we've ever done. And this is why the platform is growing. Because we took that horrible event that happened, and we've turned it into something positive that over time is going to end up making it much better. Now, I ain't thrilled that I've had to do all the work. I ain't thrilled at the way it went down. I ain't necessarily thrilled at the way it was treated. But it didn't change. Like, you don't see me here and go, wow, Rob Kendall's a different person. Now, things affect people differently. But Laura Loomer, because of her close association with Trump, really kind of serves as a henchman, it seems like, in many ways now. Give it to Loomer. She'll do it. And look, I like Laura. She was very nice to me. Haven't talked to her in many years. I reached out to her a couple times not that long ago when she was working on some stuff, offered to opportunity for her to come in. I didn't hear back from her. I'm sure she gets lots of opportunities. So I don't have anything bad to say about her other than the final 24, 48 hours of what's happened to Thomas Massie. It seems very, very mean-spirited. It seems very, very much not about good government or who this guy is. It seems very much about trying to destroy a human being. And what I'm mentioning is Laura Loomer found this reported ex-girlfriend of Thomas Massie and interviewed her about all sorts of Massie's alleged sexual preferences, amongst other personal details. Now, this is the same woman, I believe, who claims she was involved in some sort of horrific work experience with Victoria Spartz, and that alleged Massie tried to broker some sort of settlement agreement. Now, Spartz, remember we touched on this, was it last week or the week before, came out and totally denied these claims, and I believe she said the woman was let go because she was a temporary hire. And I'm seeing these things that Laura Loomer's putting out about Thomas Massie, and by the way, it's like, a day or two before the election these things are coming out. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this right here is exactly why good people don't go into politics. This is exactly why good people don't go into government. This is exactly why good people don't run for public office. Because, look, I don't know what the truth is about all of this, it's none of my business, really. The sort of sexual relationship that this woman had with Thomas Massie. Look, Thomas Massie, for those of you who don't know, he was married for like 30 years. His wife tragically passed away. He was, by all accounts, a great husband, was madly in love with his wife, and she passed away. And then, like other people who have been married for years, they enter the dating scene again. And of what I've seen, of what I've read, no criminal activity has been alleged here. Maybe it has, and I missed it. But you're going into detail, allegedly, and who knows whether it's true or not, about some guy's sex life or purported sex life like a couple days or a day before the election. Hey, if this guy was some sexual predator or monster or whatever, where was this 6 months ago? And again, I don't know what's true and what's not. But what I do know is I'm watching this going, this is taking every single person who's going to see this. And again, I think we lose sight of the fact that only a fifth of the country is on Twitter. We who are on Twitter get caught up in like, oh my gosh, it's on Twitter. Everybody saw it. Most people will never see it. And especially people in his district. But it sends this out to the masses, and now this, no pun intended, the masses, and now this guy has to deal with this. And this is why we get complete asshats who run for public office. Because those people are like, oh, somebody's going to say something horribly derogatory about me? Bring it, because I ain't got no shame. Oh, you guys even found the worst thing I've ever done. You get uber ambitious people who find politics as their way to lord over people and succeed, doing that in air quotes, succeed in life and be influential who never were before. And they say, I will take the risk of having my name run through the mud because the power, the prestige, the money, don't ever underscore the money, is worth it. Good people, normal people, family people, people who just want to live their lives and run their businesses, they're like, Nope. Because look, everybody, all of us, if you took this, somebody said this years ago, and I was like, man, this person's right. If you took the worst moment of any person's life and said, let's broadcast it to the world, every single one of us would be like, wow, that was not a good look. Every single one of us. And that's what you're getting here. I don't even know if it's real or not. It's some woman telling a story. But like, whatever your sexual preferences are, everybody's got their own thing, right? Would you want it broadcast to the world? Again, by all accounts of the stuff I've seen, nobody's alleging that he was forcing somebody or forced somebody into any sort of thing they didn't want to do. I think there's some allegations that he suggested something and was told no. Okay. That doesn't make you a criminal. That doesn't make you a bad person. Again, don't even know if it's real. But a day before election, this is what we're talking about? And now this guy's got to deal with this after the election? And in the internet world we live in, there's unlimited ability of people to try to destroy others. And what is this all about anyway? That the guy was pro get the info out about Epstein? That's it? Trump's mad that Massie forced a vote on Epstein? Or Massie was like, no. You're going to declare war. If you want to be with war with Iran, that's okay. We can have that conversation. You can make the merits. You declare war. Or Massie said, no, you're not going to add $5 trillion to the nation's debt. Or no, you're not going to spend this money. If you're going to spend it, you're going to cut over. Like, that's what we're pissed off about. And the Republicans are quickly becoming, I used to think this about the Democrats. One of the things that I really admired when I first got involved in politics, so this would have been, 2010, 2011, the Democrats sort of seemed like a really cutthroat party. Like you were all in the way we told you to be in, and if you weren't in, you were out and we would destroy you. There was no room for free thought. There was no room for free speech. You were all in on all the stuff or you were all out. Moderates, done. And then I compared that to when I would go to Republican events, how Republicans treated me as an outsider. Like everybody, my views My views have hardened over time. I've become more concrete in them. I know them better. But I had the same views of government then that I do now. I was welcomed with open arms at Republican events. And you could have great conversations with people, and some people would agree with you, and some people would disagree with you. There was never like a doubt about, hey, are you welcome here? I am the most unwelcome person out at Republican events. To the point where I got banned from a County Lincoln Day dinner. Republican Party seems pretty vengeful now. They seem pretty mean now. They seem pretty hate-filled now. And look, if Trump wants to be mad at people that wronged him, the impeachment people, the people who he believes have made up stories about him in the legal system, great, that's fine. It's not Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie didn't vote for either of his impeachments. Thomas Massie voted no. All Thomas Massie's done is vote in the interest of the taxpayers, in the interest of his constituents. So really, in 15, 16 years' time, the Republicans and Democrats have switched, at least in terms of their openness, in terms of being welcoming. Like, I see the Democrat events, they seem to be where the Republicans used to be. Yeah, they got wacko crazy people, and wacko crazy people are often the most amplified, vocal, seen people in the party. But if you look at the Democrats now, they're in all likelihood about to nominate a very moderate Democrat to be their Secretary of State candidate. And that's sort of the way the Republicans used to be. I don't know, man. I look at what they're doing now. When you're sending people out to destroy Thomas Massie about his personal life. And I've seen this happen to other people. Anybody who dare. Look at how Trump responded to Lauren Boebert the other day. All Lauren Boebert said, and I'm not a Lauren Boebert fan, I think she's kind of wacky. I think if you're an elected official, you can't be getting boozed up and frisky in a theater with somebody. You got to have some self-control. But Lauren Boebert's been arguably the biggest supporter of Donald Trump in the U.S. Congress for a long time. And all she said was, I love Donald Trump. I have been great friends with Thomas Massie for years. I think he's done a nice job as a congressman. And so I'm still going to be 100% Team Trump. I'm 100% on board with Trump's agenda. I'll keep fighting for the people in my district and to help Trump. I'm just going to go campaign for Massie. And look at how Trump responded. Immediately. Well, sure, I endorsed her, but now if anybody wants to run against her, I'll endorse them. Let me know if you're running. Thanks. That's the face of our party now? That you're not entitled to your own opinion? You're not entitled to free speech? You're not entitled to challenge in any shape, form, or fashion? Is that what we are? Is that what we've actually become now? That anytime you disagree with a guy ever, then you're dead to him? And he'll take you out the same way he trying to take your friend out? I don't know, guys. If that's the way we're winning, I don't know if that's really winning. And this party needs to take a long, hard look about how they're handling free thought and free speech and the ability to dissent. Absolutism is not a sustainable path to success. Hey, guys, before choosing a mortgage, it's smart to talk with someone you trust who can actually sit down with you because they're local. Gary Tedrow, Verity Mortgage, local lender helping buyers and sellers across central Indiana with home purchases, refinancing, strategies to manage debt using home equity. Gary focuses on guidance, on education, so you understand your options before making a decision. No pressure. Just solid advice from someone like you. See what may be possible for you. This is super easy, guys. Go to loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes. You got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. Call for a free, no-obligation quote. 317-695-5179. 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow in MLS, number 179207 with Verity Mortgage in MLS, number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender. Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about what Marlin Stutzman, he's an Indiana congressman, said about the Congress and the president being banned from trading stocks. I'm not real happy with Marlin these days, but I think Marlin's onto something here with this. We'll talk about it when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Let's talk about what Marlin Stutzman had to say. And I'm not real happy with Marlin, and a lot of people aren't real happy with Marlin because Marlin Stutzman 2.0 is not the same guy that was last in the U.S. Congress. Those of you who don't know, Marlin Stutzman is the 3rd Congressional District. He represents, that's the northeast portion of our state, Fort Wayne area. Marlin was in Congress. He was a member of the Indiana General Assembly. He then became a member of Congress. He was there for several years. And then in 2016, he gave up that seat to run for the U.S. Senate. And we've talked about this in detail before. Marlin Stutzman got a really raw deal. Marlin Stutzman was running in a 3-way Senate primary with Todd Young and Eric Holcomb. Marlin was going to win that primary. He was going to be a U.S. Senator. And he got done dirty. Holcomb was pulling votes from Young. And they got, well, Holcomb conveniently got out of the race. Dead last in a U.S. Senate primary, and of all the people in the state, wouldn't you know, Eric Holcomb was deemed best person to be the new lieutenant governor when our then current lieutenant governor just conveniently was the most qualified person to be the head of Ivy Tech. Amazing how it all works out. And then that left Marlin against Todd Young head-to-head. Mitch McConnell put millions and millions of dollars behind Todd Young, and they destroyed Marlin. Marlin got a raw deal. I've told you this before. I worked for Marlin's campaign. I learned a lot from working for that campaign. And I learned a lot of stuff that has helped me in the last 10 years. Be able to give you guys a better show. I saw a lot of things behind the scenes, including how Todd Young didn't get those signatures in 2016 and was just told, well, we like you, so go ahead on the ballot. We don't really mean the signature requirement if we like you. Seeing how that campaign unfolded really further hardened me into the positions that I have about the Republican Party, about the system, about how it works. Marlin was a great guy back then. Marlon was a fighter. He was independent. He would break with Republican leadership. He was a really good dude. I really admired him. He was Freedom Caucus. And Marlon decided, 24, he was going to run for Congress again when Jim Banks ran for Senate. And this new Marlon is totally different than the one that was in the House the last time. I was talking with somebody the other day who is a huge fan of Marlon Stutzman, and they said that. They said, what happened to Marlon? I said, he wanted to be in office more than he wanted to do right for the people. And part of this rests on us. We don't reward enough people that do right by the people. We don't enough stand up and go, we're going to fight for this guy or this girl because they've fought for us. It's one of the things I love about this show. You guys, when I came over here, said, we're with you, Rob, because of all the years of you fighting for us. Look, nobody else could do what we did because nobody else could come with the following and the loyal, passionate group of people that we have. I was talking with somebody about this the other day, about a person who's been in the media who's thinking about starting the thing, and how'd you do it? I said, you can't do it. You can't do it. I encourage people to start their own stuff, but you're not going to be able to do what we did as fast as we did. Nobody can. Yeah, you don't have Jason. And I said, it's because of years of earning the respect and the loyalty of the audience. Look, even when you guys disagree with me, you know Rob's heart is always in the right place. There's times we disagree on things, and that's okay. Unlike Trump, I don't put out mean tweets about you. We disagree on things. We have reasoned disagreements, but you know on every issue I'm fighting for you guys. And you guys have stood behind me. But in politics, we don't do that enough. We let good people go down. And what the politicians learn is, hey, path of least resistance. Because most of the politicians just want to be in politics. And so the Marlon Stutzman this time is in direct contrast. I would love to introduce the Marlon Stutzman of 2026 to the Marlon Stutzman of 2016. And I'd love to see those guys have a conversation. Marlon Stutzman recognized the best way to stay in office and elevate myself is to just support Trump no matter what, or what the issue is, no matter what the thing is. It's okay, Trump. Whereas the old Marlon was a fighter against bloated budgets, was a fighter against deficit spending, was a fighter against the national debt, was a fighter for government reform. That guy's gone. He's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. The old Marlon was friends with Thomas Massie. You heard Marlon stand up for Massie now? No way. Why? Because Marlon sees what happened to people like Lauren Boebert. When the reality is, in a unified voice, Republicans in the House should be saying, we stand with Thomas Massie. We don't agree with him on some things. Clearly they don't. He votes against the party sometimes. But we agree with independent thought. We agree with people who stand up for their voters. We agree with people who vote for their constituents. We know this guy. He's one of us. He is what the Republicans are supposed to be. We stand with Thomas Massie. Every single member of the House of Representatives in the Republican caucus should be doing that. Instead, Marlon's just letting Massie get crucified. He's letting him just get slaughtered, even though once upon a time he was friends with him. Politics steals the soul of so many who go into it, even the well-meaning people. Politics takes it away from them because they lose their identity. We talk about this a lot, guys. There's a lot of people who go in for the right reasons. There's a lot of people who go in to do well, to do right. And the thing becomes more important than what they went in to accomplish. The thing is the power. The thing is the position. The thing is the check, the notoriety, all of this stuff. And so I mention all of that to say Marlon Stutzman said something yesterday, and I'm going to be curious to see if he gets blowback on it, because it reminded me of the old Marlon that I haven't heard in the year and a half he's been there in Washington. The Hill has an article talking about how Marlon Stutzman came out that it agrees that it is time for 100% stock trading ban on not just Congress, but the president. 100%. There is no reason that a person who controls public policy in this country and can create public policy that can benefit or punish corporations should be able to buy and sell those corporations. None. That is how so many of these people go into Congress, regular people, and they come out millionaires. They do things that if you or I did them, we'd go to federal prison. They're allowed to do it. It's insider trading. They are essentially insider trading, and they're allowed to do it because they write the rules to allow themselves to insider trade. And now Trump is doing some stuff that's super concerning too. And so I'm going to be curious because Marlin came out and he said, quote, ultimately, if the trust of the American people is so low in Congress, then we need to rebuild and regain that trust back. This, referring to the 100% stock trading ban, would be one step. He goes on to say, in fact, I think take the three branches, take all of them. So he's now saying it's not just enough for the Congress. The president needs to be banned from doing it too. And when you look at what Trump did, I think there's a lot of merit that the president, not a lot, there is tons of merit, regardless who the president is, shouldn't be able to trade stocks. Serving your country is an honor. Serving your country is about sacrifice. Just look at our military. And in the case of being a congressman, a senator, a president, you are one of the most powerful people in our country. And your sacrifice should be that you don't get to make money off being there. With great power becomes great responsibility. You should not be able to make money being in that position. And how do they make money? They trade the stocks because they know they have the information. And they can use their position to leverage those companies being benefit or hurt. Happens all the time, both parties. According to USA Today, Trump bought and sold stocks worth at least $220 million involving companies such as NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, and Tesla, whose executives he has hosted at the White House and on his trip last week to China. Trump is buying and selling Tesla, and he's got Elon Musk on a plane with him going to China. Guys, does that pass the smell test? Many of the companies that Trump is buying and selling through the Trump Organization are regulated by the federal government, as USA Today points out, or could benefit from Trump including them in official business. Like, I don't know, putting Elon Musk on a plane to China. Now, the Trump Organization tries to go, no. These accounts are managed by a third party. Well, any input from Trump or his family. How are you going to police that? How can you confirm that? Look, it doesn't even matter if that's true. It's the appearance. The appearance. Trump is the president of the United States. He's a billionaire. There's no need for him to be buying or selling stocks. None of the need for any of these Congress people to be buying or selling stocks. Look, and I'm not a person that says you got to sell everything when you go in, because a lot of people are regular people. They're 401k, whatever. It's part of their portfolio. I'm not even that extreme. I'm not Marlin Stutzman extreme, which is they got to sell them all. Although I don't have any problem with it. But my deal is no trading. You go in what you go in with. You come out what you come out with. And everybody knows when you go in what you go in with. Whatever you got, if you want to stay there 30 years, that's what you come back with. If you were in a horse and buggy company, you might be in trouble. But no more of this buying and selling from people that have the ability to control the environment by which these companies can thrive or fail. Here's another example. Trump announced on his first flight to China, according to USA Today, that he agreed to buy hundreds of new Boeing jets and GE engines. Innocent enough, right? But his accounts had bought at least 1 million of Boeing stock and sold at least 500,000 during the first quarter. He also bought at least $80,000 in GE Aerospace. Guys, if you remove Trump's name from this and you said it was Biden, if I told you Biden had bought $1 million of Boeing stock and then was on a plane to China and was in China cutting deals for China to buy a bunch of Boeing, how would we respond to that if it were Biden? If we knew Biden was in China cutting deals for GE, for China to buy GE products, and then we found out Biden bought $80,000 in GE Aerospace. How would we respond to that? We have to treat it the same. Trump's accounts bought at least $2 million and as much as $7 million. That's what I can't figure out. And somebody that's a stock person can explain this to me or understands government. Why can't they tell us the exact amount? Why is it always, my net wealth is between this and this, or I bought between this and this? Did you buy $2 million or did you buy $7 million? But this happens with these politicians all the time. I'm not just saying it's just Trump. But between $2 and $7 million in NVIDIA stock during the first quarter. He also sold at least $1.8 million in NVIDIA stock during that period. One of the purchases, according to USA Today, of at least $1 million February 10th, came a week before NVIDIA announced a strategic partnership with Meta. Of course, Meta is the parent company of Facebook, spanning infrastructure for cloud storage and artificial intelligence. And here's what gets me the most. Trump, during the most recent State of the Union, and we said at the time, this is great, good on him for promoting this, urged Congress to approve legislation barring them from trading individual stocks. He said at the time, and the quote was that they should not be allowed to, quote, corruptly profit from using insider information. He's doing the exact same thing here that he just urged Congress not to do. It's the exact same thing. And if we're going to urge Congress to do it, how can we not say that the most powerful man or someday woman in the world has to abide by the same standard? Because technically the president has a lot more power over this based on the bully pulpit than a member of Congress. Guys, there are too many people that go into Congress or go into the government, regular people, and they come out millionaires. There's too many. And the reason they fight so hard for these seats, the reason they won't give them up, the reason they spend millions and millions of dollars to win them is because of the money they can make off being there. It's gross. It shouldn't be allowed. Hey, guys, is your driveway showing signs of wear? Things like mold or dirt, freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, it can all cause big damage to your driveway, to your sidewalk, to your patio, any concrete structure outdoors. That's where Seal Now comes in. Great sponsor of the Rob Kendall Show. Damon, love Damon, really interesting dude, owner of Seal Now. They're the clean seal and stain professionals. And they can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Man, these guys, they do incredible work, and they do it on more than just concrete. They do it on wood, too. So your decks, your pergolas, your fences, any outdoor wood or concrete structure, Seal Now your guys. See their work today. See how they can bring your project back to life. SEALNOW.com, SealNow.com, or call 317-548-2002, 317-548-2002. And guys, even if you don't need them right now, Seal Now would be a great group of people to say, hey, thanks for supporting Rob's show. Heard your ad. Love your business. When we need you, I'm calling you guys. Not only when you go to SealNow.com can you see other people's work, you're going to get a free estimate. And if you mention, I heard about you on the Rob Kendall Show, you're going to get 20% off any long-term sealing project. 20% off any long-term sealing project. SealNow.com. All right, we'll take a break. This is break 4, isn't it? No, it's 4, isn't it? It's break 4. We'll figure it out when we come back. We got a lot more on the way. You're watching The Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday. But get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434, and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show coming up in just a little bit. Jason will join us for the best YouTube comments of the day. We got a lot more content to get to before that. Couple of reminders. Thank you guys. We blew past that 200 like button. You guys are awesome. You always deliver. We can always count on you. If you haven't done so yet, please hit our like button. Share the feed. Let people know we're out here. Let people know, hey, there's an Indiana news, politics, and government show giving you great local content you can't hear anywhere else. Couple of reminders, too. Don't forget, tickets to the live show coming your way, robkendallshow.com. That's where you can get them, robkendallshow.com. We got the link right up at the top of the page, and you can join us June the 27th. June the 27th. It's going to be a rockin' good evening. It's a celebration of this show. It's a celebration of you guys, and we would love for you to be with us. Join us for an evening of fun, of laughs. We're going to roast some politicians. It'll be a great time. I know Jason's got some fun stuff planned. Maybe when we bring him in here in a little bit, we'll ask him if he's decided what he's going to bring to the table for the live show. But a couple of things I wanted to touch. This is an unbelievable story. It's a local story, and I read this, and I was like, no way they did this. And then I read more, and I was like, oh, they did actually do this. So WRTV6 had the story, and it comes to us from Knightstown. Now, you guys may know Knightstown best as the home of the Hoosier Gym, right? That's Henry County. You go east on 70, you're going to run into Knightstown, and it is the home of the Hoosier Gym, the old gym where they filmed the movie Hoosiers. And it's a town like any other town. It's best known for that, but it's a town. And their elections have been thrown into chaos because apparently they gave town ballots to people who don't live in the town. So they had elections like for local offices, their clerk treasurer, their town council, etc. And somehow people who didn't live in the town got town ballots, like people who lived outside of the town. So in any community, just pick Brownsburg where I live, there are people who, if you ask them where they live, they say Brownsburg because they're in Brownsburg, right? They're surrounded by Brownsburg. Their kids go to Brownsburg schools, etc. They don't technically live in an incorporated part of the town. In some cases, there are neighborhoods that are surrounded by the town of Brownsburg that don't technically live in the town of Brownsburg. So when you go to vote, unless you're like really up on it, and if I were to, if they made this mistake where I lived and somebody shows up to vote and says, I would like a Republican ballot, They could accidentally, if the thing isn't programmed correctly by the state, by the county, you could get a ballot that has Town of Brownsburg elected officials on it, but you're not supposed to be voting for that because you don't live in the Town of Brownsburg. And this is apparently what happened in Knightstown. I've never seen this happen before, but apparently it did. And this was, there were no contested races on the Democrat side. These were all Republican local elected officials, 2 at-large town council seats and the clerk treasurer's race. Carla Gorman defeated Bart Whitesett by 3 votes. 3 votes. 238 to 235. Now, that's really close, right? In fact, that's what the Spencer Deary-Paula Copenhaver race is. Now, the town council races, on the other hand, weren't close at all. It looks like both of those town council races were decided by 160-plus votes. But on Friday, Whitesett, along with one of the town council candidates who lost, filed a complaint in which they said they believe a programming error caused ballots in 3 precincts to display Knightstown town government candidates, regardless of whether or not a particular voter lived within the town limits. So if you live in the county and you're in this precinct, you go, here's your ballot. These people who didn't live in the town got to vote in the town elections. So that has caused not only this guy, Bart Whitesett, who lost a very close clerk treasurer race, but this woman who got smoked in the town council race was like, rigged election, bad election. Oh, man, you got smoked. Doesn't matter. I would have won, maybe. Yeah, but you got people like, no, doesn't matter. We got to do the whole election over again. Now, the guy who lost by 3 votes, I think he's got a case. Like, the guy who lost by 3 votes, I guarantee you, is what's driving the controversy on this. Because they might be able to tell how many people voted and say, hey, this would or would not have altered the election. There are bad ballots cast all the time. Most of the time, they're totally innocent. And most of the time, they never get recalculated. They never get called out because elections just aren't close enough that it matters. Gorman, who's the lady who won, Carla Gorman, who won, said it's frustrating to go through the process of running, according to RTV6, through an election to win, only have to potentially do it all over again. And this is where we come into controversy. Let's say they say you have to do it over again. How does that even work? The hearing to contest this election is not scheduled until June 24th. That's a month and a week, guys. And so the election's in November for the general election. You're going to have another election in between that? And so if I'm Gorman, I'm like, hey, I won. And that's what she said. She said, I'd like to see the voters get out and vote again. I'd like to see them do an election that is at least similar in length and well advertised so people can go out and vote. She wants a month-long election for the tiny town of Knightstown to vote for 3 offices? I don't know. Now, if you're the guy who lost, this Whitesett, you're like, hey, he really does have a case. What if those people in the like literally, I'm not even saying he's BSing. Like the lady that lost by 160 votes, she full of it. But she's in on this too. She's like, yeah, hot dang. Yeah. Rigged election. Stolen election. Get Rudy Giuliani out there with the hair dye streaming down the side of his face. But the guy who lost by 3 votes, hell yes. You're like, I can probably make a case that 3 people got my ballot and voted for her, and that's why I lost. Get Rudy out there for me too. I just love that the lady, one of the ladies who lost, here's her quote. I hope with the election, we can show the community transparency and give fairness. You got smoked. That was the fairness. The fairness is you got smoked. And if it happens, you're probably going to get smoked again, lady. I hope we can show transparency and give fairness. This is awful. This is one where I'm not telling you, hey, Rob has some great answer or hot take on it. It's a complete mess. I mean, what do you guys think? They almost have to have a new election, don't they? If you know an election came down to 3 votes and people, more than 3 people, I'm not saying illegally, I'm not saying they did anything wrong. They were given the ballot, they voted. But if you know that more than 3 people cast votes and that was the, don't you? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the YouTube chat. It'll be fascinating. One other thing, and then we're going to get to Jason on the YouTube chat. We got to move a chair here in a little bit, so we may wrap up just a little early because I got a meeting after that. Look, guys, we don't BS you about what's going on here. You know, that's part of the charm of this show is we're a 2-man operation. We do all the heavy lifting ourselves. Well, we bring Ethan in sometimes. Ethan's a part of it. But we got to move a chair, and I got a meeting this afternoon, so we may wrap up a few minutes early. By the way, speaking of our third hour, thank you to John Rust. John Rust is the reason every day we're able to bring you that third hour. So, guys, when you see John out or see him on social media, thank him. He's generously supported our show and allowed us to bring you this third hour. The New York Post announced yesterday Mark Fuhrman died. And Mark Fuhrman was, until 1994, some just obscure, no-name detective who, through sheer fate, became one of the most infamous legal figures in American history. Most infamous figures in American legal history. Mark Fuhrman was, of course, the guy, the Los Angeles Police Department detective, who found the O.J. Simpson bloody glove. And then, you know, the whole thing with the defense was they had to disprove Fuhrman's testimony because the glove is basically there were tons. Look, O.J. Simpson was the most guilty person in American history, right? There ain't no doubt that the juice did it. But of all the things, I think the glove became the focal point. And Fuhrman was the guy who found the glove. And it just so happened that Mark Fuhrman had in his life said very, very, very racist things. And the defense, you know, the amazing thing, I was thinking about this, the amazing thing about OJ's defense team is they were like social media before social media was even a thing, before the internet was even a thing. Like they were deep diving into people's lives and finding amazing stuff that you would say, wow, you know, somebody came forward on the internet and gave this to them. Now you would, okay, that can happen, right? They found stuff on people that's like, how the hell did they do this? I guess when you have $9 gajillion, you can do just about anything. But you think about the stuff OJ's legal team, I don't care how much money they had, the stuff they were able to find, the stuff they were able to do. They knew Fuhrman had said this stuff before they had him on the stand. And they asked him directly if he had ever said anything racist, and he said no. And that was the worst thing he could have possibly said. Maybe he forgot he said it, but you forgot. Look, Fuhrman, the stuff Fuhrman said was over and over and over again. And if you say the stuff over and over and over again, there's a good chance it's not the first time you've said it, right? And Fuhrman, instead of telling the truth, I don't know if he didn't think there was a recording of this or whatever, he lied and he said he hadn't said it, and they just played the tape. And it was done. And this was the worst guy to have that about because he was the dude who found the glove. Like, if you were like, who's the worst person in the Los Angeles Police Department to find this glove if you care about justice? That guy. Mark, go over there and get that glove. And look, that jury was never going to convict O.J. Simpson. It didn't matter what evidence was presented. It didn't matter. The idea that any reasonable person thinks that in a few hours' time, the Los Angeles Police Department could have rigged, like on the spot, right? On the spot. Hey, these people are dead. Oh, it's OJ's ex-wife. Cool, everybody, let's frame OJ. Let's get Mark Fuhrman. Yeah, it'll be great. Like, it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous that could have happened. OJ killed those people. He got away with it, and it sucks. And that jury, and some of them I think have kind of even admitted this over time, they were sending a message about race in America, about the Los Angeles Police Department, and sadly, those two people were brutally murdered and never got justice. But Mark Fuhrman was one of the most, by just fate, I would say luck, but I don't think luck is the right word, but just by fate, became one of the most infamous figures in American legal history. Obviously, the O.J. Simpson trial is the most famous trial in American history. The only one that would even like maybe come close to it is the Manson trial, but I think O.J. was infinitely bigger than the Manson trial. And Mark Furman was at the center of it. And then later on in life, he became a television correspondent. He was a legal analyst, was on a whole bunch of Fox News, and then actually ended up, I didn't realize this, he ended up, the New York Post had a big story about this. He ended up getting essentially, I don't know if disbarred is the word, but in 2020 when everybody was guilt-ridden about George Floyd, New York and I think Los Angeles and some other place, I don't know exactly the cities were. It must have been New York. I think he moved to New York. I think that's why it was. I have to go back and read the article. But he essentially got banned from being a law enforcement officer because they passed some sort of law saying if you had done anything untoward or criminal or whatever, I forget what the exact language was, you couldn't be a law enforcement officer. I don't think he was actually actively out being a law enforcement officer, but that happened to him later in life. So anyway, he died. He was 74 years old. I think he had a pretty aggressive form of cancer. And so I think he passed away fairly quick from the time he got diagnosed. He was just on TV, in fact, last year doing stuff, and he looked fine. So, but you never know. Anyway, I wanted to mention that because you think about most infamous figures in American legal history, Mark Furman certainly up near the top of the list. Okay. With that, it's time. I do. You want me to go ahead and do it first? Oh, very good. All right. Hey, guys, one of the biggest complaints people have with real estate is they actually never get to talk, or at least not as much as they want to the real estate agent. You get with one of these big guys, they got all sorts of clients, and good on them. That's great. It's great for business, but you just don't get the personal service that you really need. Because that's what buying and selling a home is it's a personal experience. And you need somebody who not only gets you, but is on your team, knows how to help you through the whole process, knows when to tell you, hey, that may not be best for you. That's what Lauren Wilson is. Lauren Wilson, Hoosier lifer, military vet, local realtor, would love to get to know you, would love to put a plan in place for you, would love to get to work for you. Lauren Wilson with At Properties, whether you're upgrading for a growing family, downsizing for retirement, Lauren Wilson with At Properties. She's the person to call. Get a fighter, get an advocate, get someone local in your corner. And she's a huge fan of our show. So you guys could just talk about the show too. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Okay, now it's time.
All right, how we doing, Rob?
I see how you did that there.
Yep.
I wouldn't need to worry about that, because there wouldn't be a second person in the
Now
room
let
with
me do mine.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, time for the chat. Brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let the next call to the plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. Owner John McKinney is a Hoosier lifer, takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Give John a text or call 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558, Black Sheep Plumbing.
Okay, so just a reminder, you do have to be a subscriber to our YouTube channel in order to chat. And then you do. You scour the YouTube chat throughout the course of the day.
I do.
And then you pick some of the ones that stand out to you.
All these awesome people in the chat. We get started with the old man.
Oh,
68.
Was he first?
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Way to kickstart us off this morning. Like Ricky Bobby says, if you ain't first, you're last.
There you go.
He's getting a little cocky in his old age, isn't he?
There you go.
MLM Warriors, number 2. Thank you, at old man, but YouTube removed my comment. Oh, we have a discrepancy going on here.
Hanging Chad.
McLevins.
You're going to have to get the election attorneys on that.
McLevins, you guys are insane. Good morning. I think she's speaking to old man and MLM Warriors. MLM Warriors ad, my stepson called me last night and said his power went out. I was up, I left a comment, and YouTube deleted the comment.
No kidding.
So see, they're getting out even before the music starts.
Okay, speaking of last night, let me ask you a question about whether I did the right thing or not.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's like 10 o'clock.
Right.
My wife is doing something in her room where she works, and I'm out in the kitchen, and she comes running out there, and she goes, Rob, someone is screaming. And I'm like, well, it's not our kid. She's asleep. She's like, no, like someone is screaming down the street.
Okay.
And
welcome to Brownsburg.
She goes outside. So, of course, I have to go out there with her. I'm like, can't just let her go out there by her own. She asked my professor.
Well, if you're not going to check, I will.
I was like, damn, fine. All right, I'll get up.
Right.
So I go out there with her, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, well, like, where did it come from? She's like, she points to the south. She's like, I think it came from the south. I was like, well, what kind of screaming was it? Was it like some kid goofing around? She's like, no, it sounded like someone was like in a panic or injured or something or being injured. And she's like, that guy right there, there was a guy walking his dog. She's like, he moved his head too. I could see him. He was past the street. It was like, he was startled too.
Right.
I was like, well, I look around, like I'm standing out there, and it's like still drizzling outside.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just standing there, and I'm like, well, like, what do you want me to do about it, honey? Well, I don't know. It's like,
good thing you don't live in Indianapolis.
I was like, I'm not getting in a
Greenwood.
car or like driving around. I was like, she goes, well, I'm worried about that person. Like, well, what do you want me to do? Call the cops and say what? She's like, well, I don't know. I'm just telling you what was going on.
That was your night.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go back in our house now, as are you. We're going to shut and lock the doors. We're going to turn our alarm back on because we're sitting ducks out here if there's some madman
that would have been the
prowl.
next thing. Yeah, right. Yeah. Again, she did not grow up in Indianapolis. You do not go outside when you hear people screaming.
Yeah, I was like,
or gunshots.
Hello, cops. Yes, my wife thinks she heard someone screaming.
Right.
She doesn't know for real for what or totally what direction nor what house. But can you guys just roam around and see if you see anybody out front screaming? Thanks.
I went to bed early last night. That was my night. Jake, D3, D5B. What's up, nerds?
My nerds. What's up, my nerds?
Nicholas Kurtz at producer Jason. Good morning, legend. Hope you're feeling better, and thank you for carrying Rob today. Every day. It's not an easy job.
Yeah.
And thank you for your concern, Nicholas Kurtz. Spray jockey. Hopefully Jason's feeling better today. Do you think we will hear about Copenhaver?
We did.
Kind of got both those in there at the same time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Spray Jockey. I am feeling a little better today. Not sure about Friday. Not sure if that's going to happen. Spray Jockey, old man, did you get a good report from the doctor yesterday? Old man went to the doctor yesterday. Unfortunately, a little bit good news, bad news. And we're gonna he laid it out here, so I'm gonna lay it out because I know people care about people in the chat. The old man, 68, at Spray Jockey. Yes and no. It was skin cancer.
Oh no.
Skin cancer. But they were able to remove it all.
Oh, good.
So I'll take it. Thanks for asking. So, old man's good.
Good. Well, everybody pray for the old man.
Yep, that's always
Love you,
scary.
old man.
Always scary. Get that little skin cancer, what have you, melanoma.
Yeah.
All right, continuing on. Tony Jones _voiceover. It seems like only yesterday that I was here waiting for the Rob Kendall show to start. It's a daily thing. Again, these are all before the show actually starts.
Before we even hit go.
This is the awesome intro music. Andrew Sweet. Good morning, unfree America, land of the fee, home of the pay.
He needs something else. I feel like that's the third day in a row we've gone
I think he's doing a good job of beating it. It's like advertising. You got to beat that message. Pretty soon everybody will be able to recite it along with me.
Yeah.
Steve Green with an E. Good morning, everyone. This should be a fan-freaking-tastic show. Let's go. C. Mills. Good morning, all. Ready for another great show? I have my own countdown started now. 6 days, and my happy ass will be on the beach in Florida.
Oh.
6-day countdown.
Well, you were worried that C. Mills might have been mad at us, but he's back today.
Oh, he was good. We chatted.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he drove an hour to see me play Sunday, and I was under the weather, and I'm still kind of under the weather. And I apologized, and he said it was all right.
Okay.
He said he had a good time. It was good music, good food. They had somebody else fill in for me.
Love it.
So everybody seemed to be okay.
Great.
Spray Jockey, at Tom. Who would that be? I'm sorry, at the old man. Hopefully it will be a quick recovery.
Yep.
There we go. All right, for that skin cancer. Ethan Hatcher in the chat.
In the hat. Yes, he probably also was in his hat. For those of you who don't know, Ethan has a giant, is it a top hat? Is that what it is?
It's a Willy, isn't it like a Willy Wonka hat?
Yeah,
or
a top hat?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like a stovepipe hat.
No, it's like it's like a, not really a top hat. It's not like an Abraham Lincoln top hat. It's like more of a rounded, what would that be? I don't know.
I told Ethan when
everybody
we hung out,
knows Ethan. They've seen a picture of Ethan.
I told him, I said, do not wear that hat. You will
Chicks won't dig
you will
the
get
hat.
us kicked out of where we're going. He did not. He wore like a fedora type of thing. It worked perfect for the ensemble.
Ethan's a hat man.
Yeah.
All right, he says, I can barely contain my excitement for the award-winning masterclass in broadcasting excellence that we are all about to bear witness to. Prepare to be delighted, informed, and entertained.
That's great.
Quite the mouthful.
I love
there.
that Ethan posted our show on his Facebook page yesterday.
Well, he also added later on, because he was apparently feeling it this morning. Good morning at producer Jason, the handsomest board operator in all of Indianapolis podcasting. It must be rough being so handsome. I'll bet you got to beat the ladies away with a baseball bat. That would be abuse. And I'm sure as hell not beating them away. All right. Continuing on. Let's try to get something of substance here. We did that one. We did C. Mills. We did Ethan, the old man back. Yes, producer Jason does a great job.
Oh, jeez. I thought we were going to substance.
I'm trying to find some good stuff for you, Rob. He also adds that Rob's pretty good, too.
Thank you.
All right. Spray jockey. Rob was a producer. I figured he could run the board if Jason was sick.
Yeah.
He can do it. I've been teaching. I've been showing. Brought a monitor in so he can see it.
Yep.
Maybe tomorrow we'll let you. Maybe we'll turn you loose on the mouse.
Jason's got it set up so that I should be able to do it with just a mouse while I'm looking at the screen here. So we can keep the camera where it's at.
Kevin Gray a couple times in the chat. I don't know. I'm just going to throw it out there. Good morning, Viet Rob. I don't know what that means. I don't know.
Oh, Vietnam, but it's Viet Rob.
Yeah.
Rob Kendall show. Yeah,
not sure
that makes sense.
He's calling you a communist or.
Yes.
I don't know. All righty. What else do we have?
You've been
here?
at this for 10 minutes. Can we get to some substance?
Okay.
It's just been you and everyone saying hello to each other.
Well, that was the first 10 minutes. So now we get into.
Well, we're not going minute by minute.
Now we get into the substance.
Okay.
Robert, I've learned how to pace this through the half hour and use my half hour to its fullest extent and not give any of it back to you.
Now, the reason, by the way, we put this much time into it is that YouTube chat is a huge part of growing this community. It's a huge part of growing the show. The comments help. Like tell you, the likes, the shares, they all help. So we want to reward you guys for being active and engaged in the YouTube chat. That's your time. It's your time to shine.
Mad Duck, I like Ethan's hat. Charles Ludi, Ethan's hat, ironically, is not an antique. White Rabbit, I love Ethan's hat. Vic Ferrari, Ethan trying to get fired from IBC is hilarious. Nicholas Kurtz.
You know who Ethan is? He's the guy in Office Space. He's Peter, where he's just going in now, where he's just like, he's given up. And he's just like, I just stare at the screen for like 2 hours.
He knows how to play it.
Yeah, that's Ethan.
Yeah, Nicholas Kurtz. Rob is so jealous. I don't know. He's jealous.
Well, I'm not jealous.
We're good buddies. He'll take it. Let's see. Okay, you want some substance. Here you go. Something Rob can sink his teeth into. Robert Schwartz. Copenhaver will prevail in the recount. I would look for a lot of votes to be thrown out on technicalities, enough to skew the vote in Copenhaver's favor.
I would be very surprised if it doesn't ultimately end up that she's the winner. I would agree.
Drew asks, is she within her rights to challenge it?
Sure, she's within her rights to challenge. What I'm saying is the premise they're challenging under. It's totally fine to do a recount or whatever, but the idea that you're going to put private citizens,
that's a little extreme. That's crazy. I wouldn't go. It's a kiss my ass. I voted. I did it. You're not. If you compel me, if you force me to come in, I'm just going to say, who forced this revote? That's who I'm voting against in the next one. So no, that was a wrong vote. I screwed up. Sorry.
Just like
I just make them help.
I mean, just shameless that they're going to put these people under oath and make them explain their vote. I mean, I'm not sure they can legally do that. I've talked to several people who said what this is going to do actually, and I hope it works out this way, is it's going to take on this law that this compel, you have to vote for half of our candidates in the general election, whatever ballot nobody does that. Most people are like me. They leave most of their ballot blank because most of these people completely suck.
Well, and then Robert Schwartz points out, looking for the electronic signatures will be a challenge. My signature is a scribble. No two are alike. They argued with mine at polls this time around. I'm that way. I don't have a signature anymore. It's just kind of a scribble because a lot of times it's electronic stuff. You got to sign with your finger.
Yeah.
It's like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. So, you might as well just throw an X out there. So that's going to be a cluster right there. Brian Bozek. Am I remembering this right? Because I thought Operation Chaos was the exact opposite. They wanted Hillary off the ballot.
No, Obama.
Because by the time they got to Indiana, Obama was the shoe-in. It was obvious. So what they were trying to do was make it to where he would not have a huge majority of Democrats. So they screwed him up like that. So
that's right.
Good call, Rush. C. Mills at Drew. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let's back up here. What did Drew say? Drew made a comment about the liquor stores, Big Red Liquor, being open during COVID.
Yeah.
And then C. Mills replied, that's why all the Big Red Liquor stores stayed open because, I'm sorry, what Drew had said, and I lost the comment here somewhere, was all the liquor stores are owned by the politicians.
The big one is Kyle Hupfer came out, who was the state party chair and Holcomb's right-hand guy, was an owner in like 31 liquor stores. And then liquor stores were allowed to stay open during COVID. That was
And Sue Seifert points out liquor stores stayed open to create more dependency and despair, and they didn't need DTs running rampant all over the country. A lot of, if you just, you stop drinking. If you're an alcoholic and you stop drinking, you get the DTs. That's what she's referring to. And, yeah, we didn't need that going on. So.
And it just happened to be a business that Kyle Hupfer owned a whole bunch of liquor stores.
Here's an interesting one.
How that works out.
Teresa Kendall. Any relation?
Nope.
Okay. Teresa Kendall. I was the Democrat Party chairperson in Du Bois County for 6 years. Mike Braun was very much a Democrat back in the day. Du Bois County was diehard Democrats up until the early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I knew when he was telling me that he was full of crap that was his explanation. So what she's talking about is, if you missed the show earlier, Braun on my old Sunday show that I had years ago, this has been 2018, he was running for Senate, came on, and I asked him about all these Democrat primary votes because Rokita and Messer were hitting him on it.
Right.
And he goes, oh, no, I was always a Republican. I just voted in the Democrat primary because I just, I want to make sure I was able to elect my sheriff and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, he's full of it. I can't prove that or disprove that. But he's given his explanation. It's up for the politicians to decide how they're going to handle this. And I said, the hypocrisy of these people is your governor has admitted to doing this exact thing that they're going to bring these people under oath to do. Why don't we bring Braun under oath? That woman's like, he was lying to you. He was always a Democrat, which probably is true.
Well, Teresa adds, Braun registered with an address that was not his residence. For years, he used his wife's business address, so he was voting illegally because his residence was not in Jasper.
Well, I don't know. Can you prove that now?
Well, that's why I'm just reading Teresa's comment. I'm not saying it's fact.
I don't
You know,
I don't even know how you'd prove that now. Doesn't matter. What I know is we'll just operate what he told me. Let's just assume, we all know Braun's full of crap and he lies all the time, but let's just assume he's telling the truth. The governor on public airwaves admitted doing the exact thing that they're now going to put these people under oath for doing, try to sway election over. So what happens to Braun?
You're asking me?
No, it's a rhetorical question. Nothing's going to happen to Braun.
I'll continue on then. MLM Warriors. I enjoy producer Jason time. So do I.
So that woman was the Du Bois County Democrat chairman?
She said I was a Democrat Party chairperson in Du Bois County for 6 years.
Okay.
That would have been back in the maybe early 2000s. All right, continue. Are we giving you enough substance here?
Yeah, that's fine. This is perfect.
We found a few that aren't involving me. Brad Sawinski.
Yeah.
Don't some people in the Illinois General Assembly want to join Indiana? As far as, you're talking about the Bears and Indiana and how,
No, those were county people.
Mm-hmm. That'd have been a weird.
Well, there's no way to do it. It's like a V. Like these counties, it's not like they're all lumped together. It's like a giant V that runs through the middle of the state.
I wish we were on their time zone.
Central?
Yeah,
I know. I agree. Indiana should be on
Central
Central time.
That's the only thing. The only thing Illinois got going for it. Jack, the Libertarian. The Bears may end up pulling a Baltimore Colts move.
I mean, look, Indiana's big enough suckers. The deal they offer is way better than the Chicago deal or the Arlington Heights deal, the Illinois deal. Even if they give them all the stuff, it's a better deal.
The 06010 board. Howdy, about 20 to 30 minutes behind live. This is why we need news, weather, top and bottom of the hour so we can catch up. That's one vote out of about 30 for news. All right, continuing on. Vic Ferrari. So I read that. No, he didn't. No, I didn't. Vic Ferrari. So the Bears are coming to Indiana. I was right. Rob was wrong. That is so satisfying.
Well, we have no idea what's going to happen yet. I'm saying my only point is the Indiana is giving away way more of our stuff than Illinois is giving away of their stuff. That's the only point I made. And I said it's a better deal if you're just a for-profit business who wants other people's stuff, which is what the Bears are.
White Rabbit points out the reason that alcohol was available for sale during COVID. Alcohol also helps sanitize things. All right, continue on. You asked about who people would stand in line to see.
Yes, because Patrick Duffy is coming to the Brownsburg Kroger on Friday, and I would like to meet Patrick Duffy, but I'm not going to stand in line for like an hour. So,
Jack the Libertarian, Paris Hilton. All right. Chad Rainey, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment, the People's Champ.
The People's Champ, yes.
Charles Ludi. Rob, having trouble with your oh no, let's back up a second. Let's Kevin Branham. He would like to meet Jason and Rob.
Well, June the 27th.
There you go.
There's your opportunity.
All right.
Get your tickets, robkendallshow.com.
Ethan Hatcher, zero doubt I would wait an hour to meet Christina Hendricks.
Who?
I don't know. Must be one of those young women
that
we're somewhat out of touch with.
Yeah.
Charles Healed. Charles Healed. Charlie Shield. I don't know. Anyway, Rob, having trouble with your insistence of Massie being the only politician who has stayed pure. Meaning, you said he seems to be a good guy and all that, and apparently Charles thinks that, let me read that again. Having trouble with your insistence of Massie being the only politician who has stayed pure.
I don't think I ever said that he's pure.
But I would like to know who Charles thinks else is pure, if that's what I'm getting out of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think Thomas Massie is pure. I don't think there are any. None of us are pure, right? There's only been one.
Well,
pure.
I think. I mean, reasonably, nobody's Jesus
my
Christ.
My whole point on Massie is that I can look at his voting record. I'll tell you what his voting record is. That's all I care about.
Right.
I don't care about his sex life.
Okay, his pure voting record. Are there other politicians? All right.
Anyway.
Deep thoughts.
My thing is making the guy to be the night stalker the night before the election is ridiculous.
Right. Deep thoughts. Rick Mears. He would stand in line to see Rick Mears. Was Rick Mears the one that did the spin, like the 360 spin on the last lap? I was at that race, 1984, 85.
Did you go with your old
85?
man?
No, I had a press pass. I worked at the Linton Daily Citizen way down in Greene County.
Who?
The Linton, Indiana, Linton Daily Citizen. I was that was my first job out of college. Well, yeah, first job out of Linton Daily Citizen. I was making about $175 a week, something like that.
Say it's your first job out of college if you quit college?
It was still my first job. I didn't say I completed college.
You think like out of college, like you were
over there outing me. No, it was Linton, Indiana. Had a little rental, and but anyway, I got press pass. Took my brother, and it was the only 500 I've ever been to. And I was right. We were right there, and he did the little spin. I thought he was going to come at us and kill us.
Did you move down there?
No, I was down. Yeah, I lived down there I was down there for about 6 months, and then I got a job back up at the Noblesville Daily Ledger with Don Jellis.
Well, I knew about the Ledger.
Right. Yeah, that was, and then I left there to start the Call magazine.
Yeah, but I did not know about that.
Didn't really leave on my own cognizance, but it was no longer there, so I started my own magazine where nobody can fire me.
It's just life just repeating itself.
Robert Schwartz. What celebrity would I spend time to meet? That is easy. None. I'm in 100% agreement with you, Robert.
There's no one you'd meet, like stand in line to meet?
Got better things to do with my time, even if it's spent doing nothing. I'm not going to go. The older I get, the less. I mean, I don't worship another man, right? It's that's weird. I would never wear another man's jersey with somebody's name on the back, type of thing. And I feel like name somebody, anybody, I'm going to walk up to and say, "Oh, it's so great to meet you," and it'd be like, "Yeah, and it's great to meet you too, whoever the hell you are." I mean, I just don't. I just never. I mean, what am I? Now, okay, it's different if you're sitting. Now, the question: if you could sit beside somebody at a banquet or at an event that you're already going to, and a celebrity would sit beside you that you could kind of like, hey, what's up, and confer with, okay, that'd be a little different. There's a lot of people, but just to say I want to go meet this person, shake their hand like Springsteen, I mean.
Do you think it's weird that I would stand in line at a Kroger to meet Patrick Duffy?
Yeah, that is even more extremely weird.
Is he a celebrity? He's a celebrity,
Duffy.
Isn't he?
You'll be the youngest person there.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But this is what I need to know. I need to get an estimate because Hammer and I were talking about this last night.
I mean, he was a decent actor and all that, but I never thought he was even close to being the star of that show.
Bobby Ewing?
I was young.
I mean, Larry Hagman was
probably watching
the
Brady
star
Bunch or something.
But Bobby Ewing coming back to Dallas was a huge deal. Women loved Patrick Duffy.
Women Loved Patrick
But dudes
Duffy.
probably looked at him too and was like, that's a cool guy, in the 80s or whatever.
I don't think so. Lisa Panare. Oh, my God, Dallas. He's a fine fox. But Brownsburg Kroger. That's what I thought, Brownsburg Kroger. Maybe this will show Brownsburg Town Council that Brownsburg traffic sucks and that area will be even more congested. Really? Patrick Duffy? I think
Duffy
Lisa and I are right on the same.
launches into some huge thing about how much the traffic sucks in Brownsburg.
And then Vic Ferrari on top of that says Knots Landing better than Dallas.
That was the spinoff of Dallas, right?
Right. The second one's always better.
No, I mean, really, for me, though, I knew Dallas because my parents watched Dallas. My grandfather watched Dallas. But for me, it was step by step. Mm-hmm. That was my generation. He did Suzanne Summers.
Okay. Well, she was a kook. I didn't like Suzanne Summers. She way overplayed that dumb act, and that was way too overplayed. Vic Ferrari, can I wear a WNBA women's jersey as a grown man? Yes, you can. You can wear a Fever jersey as a man at any age. You just cannot wear another man's jersey. And normally you would never wear a WNBA jersey, but you can wear a Sophie, a Caitlin.
No.
Yeah, you can get away with that. Nobody's going to make fun of you wearing a Fever jersey, but that's you get a pass on that, Vic. Shrog Sandwich, our in-house artiste. Oh, I wish I had her. If you're out there, Shrog, real quick, give us your what is it? Your Instagram handle or your Facebook handle so people can go check out your awesome work. But she says, I'd wait an hour to meet Bob Ross, the artist.
He's not alive, though.
He's not alive. Well,
has to be a living person.
That'd be a long wait, but probably nobody else. But you get her point. That would obviously Bob is probably her idol. That's okay. Mad Duck at Spray Jockey, who said something earlier. Let's see if it makes sense. Yeah, but Rob wants to meet his audience. Them Holly weirdos just want you to grovel at their feet while they diss you. Not sure how that goes together.
Well, I mean, he's selling bread. It's not like he's doing it for free. He's selling bread at the Kroger. He's trying to sell his stuff. Right?
Oh, and Spray Jockey. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I should have read Spray Jockeys first. It would have made a little more sense, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Spray Jockey. People are going to drive an hour to meet you.
That's right.
In Greenwood.
So I don't have a problem with it.
Now let's go to Mad Duck's comment. Yeah, but Rob wants to meet his audience. Them Holly weirdos just want you to grovel at their feet while they dish you.
Yeah.
Now that all makes sense. Rob will not expect you to grovel at his feet.
No. We'll joke, we'll have fun, we'll laugh. And that's why we set the thing up as like, hey, this is a celebration of you guys. It's a chance for everybody to meet each other. Like, I'm not out thinking I'm playing Carnegie Hall over here, right? We're selling a couple hundred tickets, and everybody's having a fun evening together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have no ego.
Brad taking a shot at Vic Ferrari about his WNBA jersey. Yes, but what bathroom would you use? Let's see if Vic. All right, let's see. Vic Ferrari. Thanks, Jason. Poop on you, Brad.
Well, these people are getting...
Shrog Sandwich. I wanted to get this in. Shrog Sandwich. Go check out her artwork.
Yeah.
Art, A-R-T, underscore of, that'd be O-F, underscore I-D-O. So that's art of I-D-O, A-R-T underscore O-F underscore I-D-O.
Yeah, all
pretty cool stuff. Especially if you're getting married, know somebody's getting married. She does like a wedding stuff there.
It's on Instagram. It's great. All of her stuff's awesome. It's amazing.
Excellent. Okay. Mad Duck. Charles Ludi. I had to do a quick Google to search who Patrick Duffy was.
Oh, we did.
The name sounded familiar. I think we're dating this group a little bit. I agree. Patrick Duffy. My God.
He was a big deal.
Deep thoughts. I met Weird Al.
There you go.
Now, okay, Weird Al would be fun.
I took your son to the Weird Al concert. Remember that?
Did you take him to the Weird Al concert?
Yes, at the Mirage.
Oh, I thought that was, I know you took him to Heart.
Did I take him to Heart?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't think I ever went to see Heart. I took him to Weird Al.
See, Vic Ferrari. Rob, you'll be the youngest one standing in line to meet Patrick Duffy. And LD Stoltz, it'll be a lot of overly done-up old women thinking they have a shot at Rob at Kroger. Vic Ferrari, if you're going to stand in line, Rob, get your CPR skills ready. Robert Schwartz, standing in line 10 to 15 minutes. Wait, that long in the checkout line, more often than not, refuse to do self-checkout. See, I'm the exact opposite. I will have a cart full, and I'll say, screw everybody behind me. I go to the self-checkout, and I will patiently bag my own stuff, make sure the price comes up correct. And because the kids don't know how to bag, the ladies don't know how to ring stuff up, it always come up wrong, and you got to stop them, and they act like you're, whatever, interrupting their day. So I prefer to do it myself because I know to get done right.
Somebody does make a good point. If you're doing it yourself, shouldn't you get some sort of discount?
I don't care. I've trained myself well. I know what I'm doing, and I can get in and get out.
What
don't
do we
have to
think
stand
the
in line.
wait time's going to be on Patrick Duffy? If I go,
I would say
1:30.
You'll walk up and he'll be sitting there looking around.
He will not. There'll be tons
and
of
you'll
people
be like,
there.
Patrick Duffy, to be like, oh, okay, the line has started.
There'll be tons of people there.
Okay. Well,
I think
I'm sure there's probably tons of people at the Brownsburg Kroger anyway, and they're going to be like when you get free stuff handed to you. Well, yeah, I didn't come for that, but it's Patrick Duffy. Weren't you on a television show?
You know why I'm going to go do it? I think. Now you know how I get. Like I'll get to Friday and be like, I'm not doing that. But my mom loved Patrick Duffy.
Okay.
She thought he was good looking, so she'll be
have him sign a shirt.
She'll be totally impressed if I get a photo with Patrick Duffy.
Stick your chest out, give him a pin, say, "Sign me, big boy."
I might take my mom with me, but I'm not sure she'd stand in line for the time to meet Patrick Duffy.
All right, golf. Hey, a new one. Golf Tango X-Ray 70. Only person I ever waited in line to see was Richard Petty. I can't think of anyone else I would wait in line for.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you that one. Drain the Swamp. I wouldn't stand in line for Patrick Duffy, but I would have waited for Rush or Bobby or for at least 2 hours. Can't think of anyone still alive that I would wait for. My last event was Rob's tax rally.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
I think I'm willing to do 15 minutes. I think I would stand in line for 15 minutes to meet Patrick Duffy.
I need to do a little maintenance once you.
Well, we got to get ready to wrap up the show here. Anyway.
I'm not ready to wrap it up.
Well, I am because we got to get that chair. We got to move that chair, and I got a meeting this afternoon. Hey, masonry color mismatch, previous repair catching your eye. Not happy with the brick color in your home and ready for a total makeover? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry, staining, and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, you want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, beauty built to endure.
See a little thing there? I'm back.
Oh.
Got three more. We'll end this with three more. Nicholas Kurtz, if you disagree with Rob, he will destroy you. Out of context, but makes sense.
I think I allow free thought all the time on here. Right?
I think he's talking about politicians.
Oh.
White Rabbit, I am proud of you for all you have stood for. It is truly brave.
Thank you.
And we will end with Robert Schwartz. There are a lot of things on this show I may disagree with, but Rob Kendall is informative. He doesn't preach bull.
God bless you.
Stuff.
Yeah,
there we go. Not going to say it. All right. There will be cussing at the live event.
There will be.
I've told Rob he's allowed to do that because it's a paying customer.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody sitting in a waiting room listening to the Rob Kendall show and a big F-bomb drop. So, chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. We certainly do appreciate John. Give him a call, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. So long.
All right, and that is going to do it for us. We're going to move that chair. You guys are awesome. Thank you to each and every one of you. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the like button, the thumbs up button. Share the feed when we're done today. It really helps us grow the program. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. All right, guys, you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you back here Wednesday, 9 to noon. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.